Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Tuesday. So good to be here with you guys this morning. I would say we have a lot to get to, but it will make all the tier ones very happy to know that today is an Exploring the Space Day, and your guess is as good as ours. Now, I will say this. After I let me introduce the program first. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, how are you?
Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, and travel agent is what I was trying to say. Morning, Benjamin.
Morning, Ben Boris. You know,
Ben Boris
can be a bit of a travel and sports agent.
That's true. We again a bit of the a day to explore the space. No game last night, and it will make all the tier ones happy to know that the show's not expertly planned today, but our trip to Philadelphia is expertly planned, and every minute has been accounted for. We are going to be heading to now. That's locked in. Today's 4-hour program.
Not so much.
It's there's room for interpretation on it. There's a chance to do some things maybe we haven't done in a while, like spin the topic wheel for, I don't know, an hour and a half if we wanted to. I like these days. These days make me feel alive. I don't like when everything's super planned out, but I'm excited because I have some good ideas for the program. Now, again, our trip to Philly is 100% done. We've got every meal, every establishment we are going to go to. We've got our tickets for the game. I think the only thing left to do is get our press credentials so we can go down to the field, somehow try to weasel one of those visiting clubhouse cheesesteaks from the Padres.
And when you say one, you mean
three.
So
actually,
yeah.
I mean
each.
I mean 6. So yeah, why am I so short here? Somebody says Wood's sitting in a hole. Yes, I'm down in the foxhole. I look like I'm 3 feet shorter than you guys. What the hell's going on? I'm messing with my stuff in here. All right.
There you go.
Okay. Now we're good. Okay. Thank you. It's so weird.
But yeah, I mean,
like a little bub down here.
There is like lore of Philly cheesesteak, like the best Philly cheesesteaks. It's not
they said
downtown.
It's the best cheesecake you will ever
steak.
God dang it. I have one-track mind.
How did you gain all the weight?
Just thinking about cheesecake.
They said it's the world's best cheesesteak, and they put them in the visiting clubhouse only because people come in and gorge themselves. They have contests. And then they show up for the games. They're like, in the third inning, they're falling asleep playing left field or something. Like, I'm a fat boy. I'm an effing fat boy. Exactly. So we have to figure out a way to get our hands on them. And so we have a couple of guys on the team that maybe would do it for us, but we got to start laying the groundwork. All we've been thinking about is this trip together. We've never really done a trip together. We've done a lot of things together, but this is like our first like trip. So the texts last night between this program, you would think the text would be, so what do you guys want to do at 7:30? What should we talk about? Is this a good talker? No. Ben's like, here's your options for dinner on Sunday night. You guys want Italian or do you want steak? And we all made our decision. I'm not indicting you. I'm not indicting you. I'm not indicting myself. I'm just saying this is where our focus is right now. It's on our Philadelphia
Hey, we're
trip
a month out.
and not our program.
You got to have things in plans in motion.
I mean, you don't want to end up not getting a reservation because we're getting
You're
to
right.
the point where they start opening dinner reserves, and then you have to plan a strategy because you're going to do a lot of eating, but you don't want to be overly full for a big meal.
Correct.
So, I was thinking when we land, it's going to be the afternoon, and instead of dinner at like 4:00, which is kind of ridiculous,
which is 1:00 our time,
we could get one of the famous Philly soft pretzels as kind of like an afternoon snack, and then that would tide us over until dinner.
You don't want to go airport cheese right to the cheesesteak?
We could go right to cheesesteak, but if we're having a steak dinner, I don't know that cheesesteak is the best thing to be eating.
You're right.
Appetizer
4 hours.
What if we get one? We
dinner.
slice it into thirds.
And I definitely want to try one of their famous Philly soft pretzels as well. And I thought that could be more of an appetizer.
He's about to Rain Man us on these pretzels. We're going to be in the plane. He's going to be like, I need to get a pretzel. Let's get a pretzel. Gotta go get a pretzel. Dad, where's the best pretzels?
I had to go to Kmart.
He's gonna get us hard. Oh, he's gonna get it. I can see the Uber right now. Hey, buddy, where's the best pretzel? You get a pretzel? We have a pretzel. How about
Would you like a pretzel?
You want a pretzel?
Kurt says, yeah, you got to get one of those roast porks with broccoli rabe and provolone cheese. Going to Dinnick's. It's right by our hotel. That's not until the second day,
He's
though.
got it so
we're
lucky.
told you, we're planned on the eating. We're
So
good to
again,
go.
So our entire text thread is restaurant you guys pick. So we picked a nice steakhouse. And the minute I picked it, I went, I think we made the right choice. And then I thought to myself, our other option was an Italian food place that you found, old school, right? And I went, ooh, Italian food in Philly. And I started doing that thing where I'm like, no, just stick to your initial gut, which was a nice steakhouse. We'll have a nice gentleman's dinner.
How about this?
But then I thought like the Mafia might be there.
Why not both?
In Philly. Not the same. Maybe both.
Tuesday night, Sunday night, and Tuesday night.
What if like the Mafia?
We could do the Tuesday night and do the Italian. It is a legendary spot, one of the oldest restaurants
We have
in
to.
an old town.
That sounds pretty cool.
Hey, how you
And there
doing?
supposedly has been like hits that have been done there, which
All
I
right,
thought you
all
might
right,
be.
yes, all right.
You might be interested in. So that's why I kind of looked into it. We may have to do both. That's fine. I've left a little flexibility on our schedule to make some alterations and maybe some impromptu changes. That's always good part of planning a vacation is to leave a little bit of wiggle room for when you get there and you find something you'd like to try.
All right, so I think can we book the Italian place today? Because now that I heard, because I had this feeling after I go, yeah, Italian food, and then I go, but it's in Philly, so it's really, really good, and it's old school. The mob, the whole thing. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, this restaurant's from the late 1800s is when it opens. So,
yeah, music and mafia are like my greatest passions in life. I got stuck in a Sammy the Bull Gravano rabbit hole over the weekend. I watched like 15 things on Sammy the Bull. So yes, let's do that as well. But the other issue that we had popped off this morning when we got in. Paul, you weren't here yet. Ben came in. I was here, and then Ben came in, and he goes, I need to make one more run at you here.
Oh, boy.
And I go, for what? And why don't you tell everybody where your head's at?
So we're going to this series, and I'm really excited. I'm glad we chose this Philly series. I think it was the right pick for us. But unfortunately, it wasn't a weekend series. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series. So we're going out on Sunday, and we're going to be missing shows that week. Now, it's 4th of July week, so we're coming home on Wednesday, the 2nd. And that leaves kind of an awkward day, the 3rd. And I just keep feeling like
company holiday on the 4th.
It is, yeah, it's exactly. So the question
Friday
is, do we come
the 4th?
Do we come back and just do a one-day week on Thursday? And Woods and Paul have been very opposed to it. And
vehemently opposed.
I
You're
sort of
insane.
feel like
I think you're insane.
Let's get it all. Let's go and talk about Philly and get it all out while it's fresh on Thursday before it gets kind of stale and old on Monday morning. And
it will not get stale or old.
That's just kind of my worry.
So where do we go? We go from Philly. They go from
Padres,
Philly
and then we'll have a whole other series to talk about that weekend.
Who? Padres, they are off on that Thursday,
right?
And then Friday, the 4th, that weekend they have the Rangers in town.
Yeah,
the Texas Rangers. Wow, we got to see Booney.
Rangers.
A lot of friends in town. We'll want to talk about that on Monday, as opposed to to Philly.
Not as opposed. I think the tier ones will anxiously await our return. And I think to come back in from a trip like that, shoveling meat, pasta, cheesesteaks, God knows what else, into our gullets for 4 days. I'm not going to want to fly cross country, land, and be like, all right, see you guys in the we'll probably need a weekend apart from each other, let's be honest. That way we come back Monday, and we are fresh. We're shot out of a cannon. And I don't think the Philly stories will be stale at all. And I think, it's always good to come in on a Monday and have 6 hours of material to talk about in a 4-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Adam right now is convulsing. I mean, he is convulsing. He's got a wooden spoon in his mouth. And, he's losing his mind to think that we're going to miss 4 shows and a round table.
That's true.
By the way.
Right. He says, what with the round table?
So homeboy here to my left, who I love dearly and respect, says, well, maybe I'll just come in and do the round table.
So you're going to show up at 10 o'clock, not do a show.
That's weird too. That's the problem. That would be weird to just show up and Elisa says, do the show by yourself. I don't really think that's an option because I don't want to talk about Philly stories
Without
you
us.
two.
Right.
And then I'd be sitting here. I wouldn't have anything else to talk about other than the Philly series. And
It's like, well,
being
NBA
in
free
Philly.
agency opens next week.
So I
and,
can't-
we're just waiting for that.
I can't
and,
really do that either. So it's really up to these guys to decide. And they've decided we're just taking a week off. As Paul pointed out, you should never have a job where you can't feel like you can take 1 week off in summer. We don't take
a
time
holiday
off.
week.
We take off.
It's already
at
a short week.
The last week and a half of the year, usually around the holidays.
2 weeks, yep.
And we do every other show the rest of the year. And we
One
should
of
be
us
able to,
at least is
at
here.
least one of us is here, and we should be able to take a week off as a show. Other hosts always take weeks off. Some take 6 weeks off their show during a year.
Sure. I'm taking an ass load of vacation, just so you know. July is going to be rough, but I'm taking my equipment with me to Hawaii. Orthodox asked, why don't we just take the gear with us? Because we're paying for this on our own. This is
not a
our
work trip.
This is not a work trip, but it is a content like I'm writing this trip off because I will be there getting content like a madman. But Odyssey's not paying for this. We're paying for this out of our own pocket. So
plus, we would be doing a show from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Correct.
We'd ruin our whole day.
Our whole day is gone as we're in there doing a show. Now, when I go to Hawaii, I got no problem getting up early. I'm an early bird. I got no problem doing a show from 3 to 7 a.m. I go home, I crawl right back in bed, sleep for a couple hours, and then I go spend the day with my family. It's really not going to be an issue for me as long as the equipment works. So I gotta veto you on the one coming back to do 1 day, especially now. If we were working Friday, I'd be like, you know what, dude, 2 more days, let's come back in. But to already have that day off on Friday, it doesn't make any sense to come back and work 1 day. But you have to go to work.
I do have to work at Channel 10.
Your other gig.
Yeah, my other gig.
But you get to sleep in.
I do get to sleep in. Yeah. Get to enjoy it. And so, I guess once we finish that show on Friday, the 28th of June, you won't hear from us again until the 7th of July.
Yeah.
Seems like a long time.
Julio in the chat says, Woods is so lazy. I would call myself a lot of things. Lazy isn't one of them. Lazy is not one of them. I have family vacations, bro. Like, I have small children. They can't sit at home during the summer.
Bro,
like, we go on family vacation.
I don't give an F if you're just sitting at home for a couple of days because you needed some time to reset the batteries. Like, it's okay to take time off. I said this morning, I was like, I love you guys, but I love this job, but it's also not my entire life.
Right.
If we're going to take a week off in the summer,
we're taking
to go on a vacation, I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Yeah, I'm not either, man. And especially, like, I'm not going to feel bad about going on vacation with my kids. I'm going on vacation for my 50th birthday. That I will not be taking the gear for. But yeah,
which is also in July.
That's
and
also
I
in July.
Have a family vacation in July with a couple of days off.
So it's going to be great. It's going to be
a little bit of a weird July.
It's going to be a weird July. It always is. But no, man, like I don't feel bad about it. I don't want to come back in and do 1 day. I think 1 day is weird. Nobody wants to come back in the middle of a week-long vacation and be like, all right, I'll come in and do 1 day.
I'd even put up a fight, even if we did have to work on Friday, just a weird 2-day week. I'd be like, I don't know.
See, now Julio's making me feel guilty. All right, Ben, I'll just come in and do it with you. It's fine. It's no big deal. I'll just work Friday too.
You guys have fun though.
I do wonder. Well, and so the other part of it for me, and Julio didn't know this, and so I've been married for a long time, got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. I've never had the house to myself for more than 2 hours, 3 hours, never. My wife is taking the kids to Colorado, beautiful in the summer. And they've got all these hikes and bike rides and stuff planned. I'll be with you guys in Philly, sucking down meat at an alarming rate. Then I come home and they'll be in Colorado. So I'll have the whole house to myself as for the first time ever.
When we get back on Wednesday night,
they'll be gone.
They'll be gone.
Correct.
And when do they get back?
Like 2 days later. So I'll have like 48 hours at home by myself.
What if we all
never
came and did the show at your house? Would that be?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Which is incredible. So I said that to Hannah this morning. I said, I'm going to have some time to myself. And she goes, no, I'm going to schedule some workers and stuff. So I don't want you here by yourself. I go, you better not. She doesn't like the idea of me being home alone, left to my own devices.
Why not?
I don't know. Because she's mean. I have no idea.
What does she think you're going to do?
I don't know. I'm not going to have a party. It's not risky business. You know what I mean? It's not like it's going to be risky business there. I'm not going to be running prostitutes out of there for my buddies. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Me just with the shirt and the glasses. Hey, I might actually do that. So she's just like, no, maybe we'll come back early. I'm like, will you just go and let me have this time to myself? Then we'll spend the weekend together. But so yeah, this has been a real thing, this trip. And
Stroganoff.
I mean, that goes without saying, but like, just you guys go enjoy your time and then let dad shut the mother down for a while. And I'll be here waiting for you when you get home. Gladly. I'll pick you up from the airport, everything you need. Right? Just give me a couple days. I've never had it. As a married man with kids, she's never said, I'm taking the kids to this for the weekend.
Would she feel differently if you hadn't just been on vacation to Philadelphia the few days right before you were getting home to have those days?
No.
Like she thinks you're getting a little too much time.
I think so.
Yeah,
that might be
I think she thinks you're getting a little too much time.
But I'm not going to Colorado. Like that was never in the cards. So like you didn't have to go to Colorado. You chose to go to Colorado. So if you go all the way. Go all the way, and then I'll see you guys when you get back. But we have, like Satan's Blowfish said, we have cameras all over our house. I'm going to have to unplug cameras, cover things up. She's going to be like, she's going to be watching. Why was there a DoorDash guy there at 11 at night? What are you doing? Why is there a DoorDash coming? What did you order? Will you leave me alone? Please.
You have to put in the notes that leave it at the neighbor's house, and then I will.
No.
I will.
We have the Ring. Leave it at the guy behind me.
Oh, okay.
Leave it in his backyard.
Then pass it over.
I'll put my fishing pole over. You hook it here, and I'll reel it in. And then I don't think she can get me. He's kind of Chris.
We'll string a line from your house to your neighbor's house with like a pulley system. yeah.
He's kind of Chris. It sounds like prison. In a way, it kind of is sometimes. Especially when you don't get unsupervised time alone. So we literally had this conversation hour ago.
Did she give you an hour in the yard every day?
Yeah, I get an hour in the yard, just shooting hoops in my slides.
All right, so 4th of July, pre-4th of July kegger at Woods' house that Thursday night.
KG goes,
we don't have a show that day.
With your luck, the DoorDash person would be like a hot woman. Who was that blonde lady that brought you Jack in the Box? What is that about? Man, I swear to God, she works for DoorDash. I swear to God. It's so good. It's so good, dude. So yeah, that was we honest to God, you guys, an hour ago had this conversation in my kitchen. I go, just go and leave me. Please leave me be. Please. Doesn't mean I love you any less. That I'm going to be there by myself. I'll see you when you get back. She's like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. It's crazy. Anyway,
let's check traffic, and then
Philly flights were booked in like August, by the way, almost a year ago.
Oh, yeah, we've been ready for a while.
I'm going to speak with Brian, who lives behind us. He's going to monitor your comings and goings. It's
the log.
I mean, bro, I'm going to be walking around there like a meth head, like all scared, looking around the corner. Oh, it's so good.
All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to check traffic, get you ready for this free-flowing program coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurant. Good morning. Up to kind of a busy start. Got a collision on the Coronado Bridge heading over to the island. Just past the 5, the right lane is blocked. Also a collision on the El Cajon Boulevard on-ramp to eastbound 8. In the North County, westbound 78 before Emerald, overturn accident blocking that slow lane. And northbound 15 before the 76, going to find that right lane blocked. This is all due to investigation of an overnight fatal accident. So watch out for a little activity there. Ready for a delicious escape? The new Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket, packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We talked a bit yesterday about what the Padres could be doing with their left field position and lack of production. Well, one of those options is all of a sudden gone today. We'll talk about the move the Padres made yesterday and continue our thoughts on where the Padres could go there on the program today.
And an interesting comment from Edgard in the chat. He says, how many times do the players take a vacation with family during the season? And that kind of leads into another topic we want to talk about today. a manager taking a day off in the middle of the season. And it's not the first time this has happened, but Boston Sports Radio lost their mind yesterday, and we can talk about it. And I think it's fair to have the conversation. Edgar, I would submit to you that a lot of families of big leaguers, they take their kids with them on a lot of trips, and those are kind of mini vacations. But those guys also work 6 months a year and make millions of dollars.
Right. I promise you, if we were off pretty much the entire off season and didn't do the show, we would never take vacations during the season. But
you think we
do shows all off season long, so we can't have that mentality that we can never take a day off during the season either.
Can you imagine the last out of the World Series hits, and that's it for us? We come in the next day, we break down the World Series. We're like, see you guys in Peoria.
Speaking of that, Jesse Agler will be our guest today, and he does have that kind of schedule where he gets extra family time during the off season, but rarely gets to take days off during the year. He's on the trip, but he will not be on the radio broadcast today. He will be doing television, I believe, with Mud, and Scan and Tony are going to be doing the radio broadcast today from Toronto. Jesse will join us at 8:35, though, this morning, because Don is doing a national TBS game. Interestingly, in Boston, where the talk not only about what Woods was referring to with a manager, but also with one of the visiting players, former Padre Juan Soto, who is learning about life in the other side of New York this year.
There's a lot of really good baseball talkers today.
It's some interesting stuff. I've got some thoughts on honestly, I may have to come to the defense of Juan Soto here today because he is taking a lot of grief from Mets fans, from
Yankee fans,
Yankee
media.
It's been a tough week for Juan Soto, and he's in the torture chamber right now. So we'll talk about that on the program today. Got all of our regular features. Don't do this. Take on Woods, Reindl Report, and we get another pair of Padres Marlins tickets to give away. We did it later in the show yesterday, so let's try to do it in the first half of the program today. Chance to win tickets for next Tuesday's game. It's the military hoodie game against the Miami Marlins, and we have 2 tickets to give away coming up later in the program, so stay tuned for that. We will get started, though, with some discussion about the unexpected Padres move on the off day and the start of the road trip to Toronto and Atlanta. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Don't go away. It's Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place. Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Made me think yesterday. I was listening after the show. When I left, he did one of his little segments that he does, and he talked about Cal Quantrill's immaculate inning that he threw on Sunday. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, and he said, an immaculate inning is more rare than a perfect game. And I thought to myself, no, it's not. There's been 118 immaculate innings in Major League Baseball history. There have been 24 perfect games. What are you talking about, Boomer? And then I realized, no, he is right, because you have 9 chances.
Opportunities. Yeah.
You have 9 opportunities every game for an immaculate inning. You only have 1 opportunity every game for a perfect game.
Yeah.
So
however many games there's been in Major League history, call it
multiply by
10,000.
9.
There's been 10,000 opportunities for a perfect game.
but
There's been
90,000
90,000
for immaculate innings. So percentage-wise, it is a rarer accomplishment to throw an immaculate inning. There's just a lot more opportunities to do so. And I would argue, if you asked a pitcher, what do you think you're more likely to do, throw an immaculate inning or a perfect game?
They'd say immaculate.
I think they'd say an immaculate inning.
Yeah, no question.
which apparently is delusional.
Apparently
that's delusional.
You just get more
But I
chances to
agree.
do it. So I was surprised by that. We also, at the end of the show yesterday, talked a lot about the Padres left field situation, with Jason Hayward continuing to struggle offensively, Mike Shildt trying different options, including Brandon Lockridge, including Gavin Sheets, little Tyler Wade. They've looked at different and not really found any answers at this point. Were they going to reach back down into the minor leagues and bring someone up? It won't be Oscar Gonzalez. That news came out just after our show yesterday from Dennis Lynn of The Athletic, that the Padres had granted their unconditional release to Oscar Gonzalez, who apparently requested it in order to pursue a playing opportunity in Japan. They can make good money. Players can make good money over in Japan, and felt like, hey, if I'm not going to get an opportunity on the big league level here regularly, then I think the best thing for my career would go play overseas and go that route. So they've allowed him to do that. Comes on the heels of course, Connor Joe getting traded a couple of weeks ago as another outfield option. And now even the internal.
Have you seen his numbers, by the way?
He's doing well, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the big league level or AAA?
So
Cincinnati.
With Cincy, yeah.
I have not.
I follow him on Instagram, and every night I see like him posting, they all do that. They post their own highlights, and I'm like, oh, there's another knock. RBI. Again, it's
an agent or some sort of social media person does it for them. I can't picture
I can't.
like Fernando Tatis sitting there and putting his own. Okay,
you're a sweet kid.
Manny sitting there and putting his own highlight. Okay.
You're a sweet kid. You're a real sweet kid to think that those guys aren't running back there after they just hit a home run and be like, all right, I'll just share that to the old base. Yeah.
Small sample size, but in 4 games for the Reds, he's 6 for 15, 2 doubles. Yeah, hitting 400,
okay.
OPS of 971.
I mean, I couldn't be happier. I love that guy. What he's overcome, and the many, many roads that he's had to travel to get opportunities at the big league level. For whatever reason, it just didn't.
It's kind of funny.
It is. It just, for whatever reason, it didn't click. It didn't click here. I don't think it was a fit. I liked the move when it happened. Very low risk move to get Connor Joe. The guy traditionally in his career, Ben, like we talked about, puts together good ABs. Didn't really when he was here. It happens, man. And they moved on from him. I'm not lamenting. I'm lamenting the loss of Connor Joe, the person. I'm not really lamenting the loss of Connor Joe, the player, right now. I don't think he was a long-term solution, even though I love Connor. But, just like Jason Hayward's not a long-term solution, just like Oscar Gonzalez wasn't a long-term solution. There is no long-term solution for the San Diego Padres in left field unless they go out and trade for one. And look, at the end of the day, I got a couple of DMs about Oscar Gonzalez, and I said, look, 27 years old, got a lot of potential. The potential is absolutely there. He's one of the most free-swinging players I think I've ever watched at that level. I mean, he swung at everything. He swung at everything. Pitches up, pitches down, pitches in, pitches out, balls that bounce, balls over his head. Again, potential is there. He's got raw power. He's got a lot of pop. Outfield was kind of tough to watch too. Good luck, man. I wish him well. I'm not crying about it this morning that we lost, that we let him go out and pursue a better opportunity for him. A class move. Great job.
He's been in the organization for how long?
Just now, just got here.
Oscar?
Yeah.
We just got season as a minor league free agent.
Yeah.
Because then, you think about Tirso and other guys like Campisano, not for left field necessarily, but we have these same conversations where you're like, man, I know it's not a great answer and nobody really maybe wants to hear it, but you kind of have to just trust AJ Preller and the organization, guys like Campisano and Tirso, who have had plenty of looks within the organization If they don't think that they're ready and going to be able to produce and be part of the big picture for the Padres, what are we talking about?
I promise you, they'd love Tirso to be the guy.
Oh,
if there was anybody they'd love
no
to
question.
be the guy, it would be the one that has come through their own system that they have molded now for a decade to potentially be a big league corner outfielder. He knows the Padres way. He's comfortable with the system, everything they do. He is up there. The question is, can he hit on the big league level?
Right.
He's hitting at AAA. He's got something 800 plus OPS, but that is a giant hitters league. And when he had his opportunity earlier this season, very limited, just a handful at bats. Didn't look like he was quite ready to be hitting on the big league level. That would be the ideal solution for AJ Preller. But as it stands right now, I believe they have a couple of now open spots on the 40-man roster, with Connor Joe getting traded, with Oscar Gonzalez getting released. I think AJ Preller is the kind of guy who looks at an open spot on his 40-man roster and not going to fill it just to fill it, but that worm is kind of crawling around in his brain.
You don't get a bonus for finishing the season with 38 men on the roster.
No, he's got to be careful. He's got a budget, and he can't just, he doesn't want to spend another $1 million on, flush it down the toilet on a player who's not going to help them, because he's going to want to make moves at the trade deadline and, try to stay in some sort of, all of this goes against the luxury tax as well. So he's not just going to spend money to spend money, but I guarantee you that he is doing a lot of thinking right now about what he could add onto the roster, the 40-man, someone that could probably play a corner outfield spot and potentially help this team without having to dip again into his prospect well yet. Now, he may do that on a trade, but right now he's looking at the free agents, the guys who are still out there unsigned, and seeing if there's anyone who might be a fit for the Padres.
David says in the chat, he's got 2 guys coming off the 60-day in 10 days. So Hoeing and Waldron will be added to the 40-man, leaving 1 slot open. There were 3. But yeah, I who's out there that you want, right? Why hasn't David Peralta been snatched up by another team? Nobody has apparently shown any interest in David Peralta. His career may be over. This has happened in the last couple of years. The aged free agent, the Brandon Belts of the world, who had a pretty good OPS after 23. We go into 24 with no first baseman, and everyone was screaming, go get Brandon Belt, professional hitter. He's been there. He's won, et cetera, et cetera. Never got a job. Never got a job. This is happening a lot more.
And I actually heard Braden.
Anthony Rizzo.
I heard Braden talking about this, and I kind of agreed with what he said. If you are a veteran and you've had a decent career in Major League Baseball, and you've made a lot of money, and you probably are doing fine financially, you may still want to play, but you don't necessarily want to play for the minimum. Like, hey, if team's desperate enough to give me $4 or $5 million, I will come back and do it. I don't want to play for the minimum. I don't want to play for a prorated, $600,000 for the rest of the season. I want it to be worth my time.
Everybody's like, go get
while.
JD Martinez. Wasn't he like wanting like $20 million?
$15 million or something.
And he can say, you know what? And if you don't want to meet my price, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know what? My life is good right now. I don't need you. You need me more than I need you. And if you want to meet my price, great. If not, I will continue enjoying my life with my family, whatever I am doing. But if you want me to get back and get in baseball shape, ready to go to help
grind,
you, I want money for it. I'm not coming and doing this for nothing. I'm a proven guy. I've done this for my whole career. There's no reason I should do it for the minimum just to hang on for another few months. So you do have to keep that in mind, that veteran players don't have to accept your offer just because they don't have offers from anywhere else. They may not be desperate to play.
Bill asks if Chris Taylor would be a good fit. Plays left field. Bill, he's got worse numbers than Jason Hayward at this point.
And he's almost the same age.
And he is absolutely a spy. Absolutely. Couldn't you guys see him fumbling a catch against the Dodgers?
Now,
just to give his old
how
pals.
It usually works, that when another team, like when you're fired from your job, then you have an axe to grind and you want to go somewhere and spill all their secrets. But it doesn't seem to work that way with the Dodgers.
It sure doesn't, does it, buddy?
I can tell you about that organization up north. Believe you me.
I mean, that's how I'm wired.
I know you're wired.
Fire
like
me here, good luck.
The Dodgers fired Chris
They
Taylor.
fired him right before he hit his 10-5 too. So I mean, yeah, you would think he's got an axe to grind.
Yeah, exactly.
But he doesn't.
You want signs? You want anything? I am your guy. I can tell you every dirty secret about the LA Dodgers, and I'll do it for the absolute minimum.
Well, we got Jason Hayward. He was with the Dodgers last year. What have we learned? I don't know. We haven't played the Dodgers yet this season. So we don't play National League teams ever. So we don't play any teams in the West really ever. So when that day comes, maybe they're hanging on to Jason Hayward for the Dodgers series. No, I listen. There's a reason Chris Taylor was released. And that is a fairly loyal organization. They really are. And I think much to the chagrin of a lot of Dodgers fans, Austin Barnes, Chris Taylor, those guys being released, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. And the bad thing for Padres fans, good thing for Dodger fans, they had two guys they could plug and play immediately. Dalton Rushing was ready. He's ready to go. So he's in. Austin, you're out. They have Tommy Edman coming off the IL. Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez, you guys are back. Sorry, man, you're out, Chris. That's how
they
it works.
have a roster crunch, a really bad one. That's part of paying that many players. They also have to worry about a 40-man, and they're going to have to release more guys as the season goes on. As players get healthy, they have guys on the 60-day, just like the Padres do, that will have to return. They can't keep everybody all at once, so they will have to make some tough, non-loyal decisions about players because that's they just have too many to go around now.
Too many players.
One other comment from the chat. Brandon says the weird transaction Padres yesterday was Eggy being sent from El Paso to the Arizona Complex League for some reason. It's a pretty simple reason. Eggy's struggling badly at AAA. If you are not hitting in the Pacific Coast League, you are in some sort of funk, and they are just going to give him a bit of a reset, get him out of the competitive environment, take a little of the pressure off, try to get him going again. He looked really good, remember, in spring training? Yeah. I mean, really, really good.
Hitting righties, too. And that was the knock, and he was...
Is it possible that the disappointment of not making the team may have affected him a little bit? His confidence took a hit. I don't know. That's something for the coaches and, in the Padres organization to figure out. But this is how they're responding to it, with probably compassion. I don't think this is a punishment for Eggy. I think this is a compassionate move. Hey, we want to get you going again. It's not working right now at AAA. Let's give you a little reset. Take you to our complex league. We got coaches there. We've got facilities there where we can kind of work and get you in with the cameras and whatever they need to do. And hopefully he'll come back and return to, AAA and pick up where he had left off the last couple of seasons. But he just off to a really, really rough start this year.
Happens, man. Happens in this game. Yeah, I think there's probably some truth to all that. And yeah, it's nice to be able to have that to where, the team says, hey man, we're not done with you. It's going to send you down. We're going to reset, get it back to neutral and see what you can do and work on your swing. And, figuring it out in game is tough. You know what I mean? That's why those things exist. That's why that complex league, and that's what it's there for them to go back and kind of reset the battery. And so I good for him. I hope he figures it out. But Eggy Rosario, I have to be honest with you, probably wasn't in my plan for whatever that's worth this season. I wasn't counting on him to be a big, piece. I have looked at a couple of these moves that the Padres made. Look, when they signed Jason Hayward and Connor Joe, and hell, even Gavin Sheets for a time. Gavin Sheets has been great. That's one that hit. You have to look at that one and go, ding, you got that one right, 100%. But these other ones you looked at and you go, stopgap until, something materializes. So I'm kind of with Padres fans in that, yeah, we've kind of seen enough and we need to get a more solid solution, but probably not going to happen right now. Taylor Ward hit another home run last night. Like, that guy's as locked in as
but
he can be.
The Angels all of a sudden are, they're only 5 games under 500. We talked about it. They're only 4 games out of a playoff spot. They're not
trading Taylor Ward
right now.
Right.
Most teams aren't. All right, we're going to check traffic. After that, we're going to get a special visit from our friend down the hall. They're doing something special right now at KSON, and John Flint wants to share it with you. We'll do that next here on 97.3 The Fan.
5 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury. Here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Lots going on this morning, guys. Crash at the Coronado Bridge heading over to the islands just past the 5. It's blocking that right lane. Also an accident blocking the El Cajon Boulevard on-ramp to eastbound 8. South 805 before Mira Mesa Boulevard, reports of some debris across the 2 right lanes. Overturn accident in the North County, West 78 before Emerald. Got that right lane blocked. An investigation continues for an overnight fatal accident. Northbound 15 before the 76th. The right lane is blocked there. San Diego, before you cruise out this Memorial Day, stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed, just 15 minutes, and you're road trip ready. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Experts you can trust. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I mentioned it, if you were with us at the end of the program yesterday, a little bit about what John and Tammy are doing down the hall. I know they've done this in the past. We talked about it last year, but hey, it's a good cause, and we welcome John Flint from KSON back into our studio this morning. Not for any take on John.
We can, if you want.
I mean, we can do a quick impromptu game. But no, tell us what's going on, John.
Yeah, here's John asking you guys to help us again, but thank you so much for letting me do this. I imagine you guys have plenty of military vets listening to Ben and Woods every morning, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm sure you guys are also aware of the horrible number 22, which is the number signifying the number of suicides every day from veterans who are suffering from severe PTSD. Not to bring the show down, but that's just the harsh reality of what's going on. And there are many veterans here in America's finest city, America's also most military city, who are suffering right now. So we do this every year. It's called Service Pet for a Vet. We partner up with Paws, PAWS, Paws for Purple Hearts, which is a fabulous organization here in San Diego that trains service animals and then gives them free of charge to a very needy, deserving vet. And here's the deal, boys, 35 grand to raise and train one animal. That's how highly trained these heroes on 4 legs are, and that's really what they are. They're bringing life back to these men and women who are in a real dark place, and some of them are ashamed that they feel this way. Some of them are too proud to ask for help. Some feel that they're not deserving enough, that there's a veteran who's more deserving, and that's just garbage. We have to help these men and women who did nothing but do their job and serve our country and defend our country and are hurting because of the things that they saw. I never served. I didn't serve in the military at all, so I consider this my duty to just help out all we can. And I know there's a lot of you out there right now that feel the same way that we do, and maybe don't know about how severe the PTSD here is with our local vets. But these dogs are saving lives. Do you know they train these dogs so well that they can tell when a veteran is getting stressed, getting distressed, getting anxious, or getting dark before the veteran even does? It's mind-boggling what they can do.
Wow.
They can open fridges, they can get medicine, they can put your socks on. It's incredible what they train these animals to do. And as you can imagine, it's not an easy thing to get these dogs to do that. That's why it takes a couple of years to train them. That's why it costs $35,000 per dog to do so. So if you can take 2 seconds out of your day, just go to KSON.com. It's right there on the front page. Paws for Purple Heart, our service pet for a vet. It'll take you 2 seconds, and then just tell everybody you know to do the same thing. And if you are a veteran, thank you for what you did. And if you're suffering, we are here for you with John and Tammy's service pet for a vet.
Awesome, dude. It's a good cause.
It's a great cause.
Always a good cause.
I mean, I see so many of these vets come into our studio with their animals, and the love and just the dependence they have for each other. You can see it. It's just an amazing bond. I mean, when I get home from work, there's nobody that is happier than Roger the puppy. He goes crazy, and I know how much better I feel when he's just sitting in my lap chilling. I don't have PTSD, thank God, but he still makes me feel good. Imagine if you know, I hear so many vets who come on our show that say we couldn't even leave our house because if a group of people came towards me, I would get triggered. I would think that they're coming at me, or I just get stressed, or it would trigger something that is in a very, very dark place. And just having a dog on a leash, walking a dog, people are different. They want to pet your dog. They want to say, "Oh, look at you," and it helps the vet say, "Okay, yeah, not everything's bad. This is good. This is helping me." Something as simple as that. It's really an important thing. And
Where do they go again?
KSON.com. Pause for Purple Heart is the organization. We're calling it John and Tammy's Service Pet for a Vet. KSON.com.
We put the link up in our chat. We'll share it to our socials as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Johnny.
Love
Nice
you,
work,
boys.
Johnny.
Love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Always
it.
good to see
Thanks,
John
great
Flint.
work.
Again, KSON.com. You can see it right there on their homepage. If you want to help out just a little bit, hey, you know what?
Every little bit helps.
Doesn't need to be a giant donation. If we get a lot of people to donate just a little tiny bit, then get up to that 35 grand pretty quickly.
I mean, it could be a giant donation.
I'm just
Wouldn't say no.
Don't feel like you don't have to just because you can't give a big donation. Little donations help too.
Time for a quick take on John?
No, I don't.
I don't think so.
Thank you, pal.
See you, buddy.
See you, man. Love you.
So, just finishing our discussion about left field, we talked yesterday about, the idea of asking Jake Cronenworth to move out there to put Jose Iglesias more full-time at second base, a guy who at least has done it recently in the big leagues and had a good season last year for the New York Mets, and create your optimal lineup as currently the roster is currently constructed, kind of create your optimal offensive lineup. How much are you giving up in left field with Jake out there? I mean, what kind of damage are you doing if you put Jake out there? I don't know. I mean, it's just never really been something they've talked about publicly, even thinking about moving Jake Cronenworth to left field.
Yeah, and again, you don't know if they've had conversations, and he said, no, I don't want to do that. You have no idea. I have no idea.
Never heard Jake say, no, I don't want to do that.
No,
but,
I mean,
behind closed doors,
potentially
maybe a different story.
You never know.
That's not something I want them to do in the middle of the season.
Correct. Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, just
kind of a moot point.
It is kind of a moot point, but again, it's just made too much sense for the last 5 years. I have always envisioned him right when he came up. I'm like, oh, shortstop, second base. I think we're probably covered there. Then he ended up moving to first base, played pretty well there. Hits much better when he plays second. Are you going to mess with his offense by putting him into the outfield? It's done wonders for some guys' career. Some guys' careers have. It's not going well for Jose Altuve right now, Ben.
I mean, the best case scenario, a bench of Iglesias, Wade, and/or Lockridge, a backup catcher, is good.
Yeah,
it's good. You just need to find a left fielder.
Get a left fielder
at some point.
Yep.
All right, that remains one of the orders of business for the San Diego Padres. Actually picked up ground on the day off on most of the NL West. We'll get to that and more coming up next year on 97.3 The Tuesday morning. Padres have not won a game since last Wednesday.
Wow, that's right.
2 off days and a sweep by the Mariners will do that.
That'll do it.
But here's the good news. They haven't lost any ground to the Dodgers over that time. In fact, they actually gained a half game yesterday. Dodgers got swept by the Angels over the weekend and then lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks in the opener to a series last night. And they did not look good.
No,
last night.
No, they did not. It was the only game on. Relax, Dodger fans. I would have watched it anyway. But I also watched the Reds game before that, so settle down. Yeah, they look terrible. They look terrible. And it started basically with the first batter of the game hitting a lazy fly ball to center field that Hyesung Kim didn't see. And Teoscar Hernandez, fresh off the IL, hauled ass over to center field because I think he realized, I don't think he sees it. But Hyesung Kim did not give him the arms wide open, Creed style, looking up like Andy Dufresne going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? He did not do that, which is the universal signal for it. I have no idea where this ball is. Help me. And you could see.
It's a different culture. He's coming from a different culture. They may have different nonverbal cues as to how you communicate. I don't see this thing. Help.
Yeah.
Help.
You. And Teoscar was a little peeved. You could tell.
You know, it's that time of day.
Well, it was
it's
light
sometimes
sky.
Can be one of the hardest times to pick up a fly ball.
They
around,
said it. They said it on the broadcast.
6-7 p.m. this time of year.
Now the broadcast in and of itself, it was on what MLB Network.
Even the camera guy couldn't find it.
Yeah.
He was like all over the place.
Then you had Muncy kick one around. You had Edmund Boo to throw on. I mean, they just look sloppy. They look sloppy.
But
and
that's
again,
not their issue. Their issue is pitching.
Their issue is pitching. Now, the interesting thing to me was I did not listen to the Joe Davis, Oral Hershiser, whoever was on last night. It was the Arizona Diamondbacks broadcast. And so to hear it from their perspective was interesting. Now, again, don't shoot the messenger. You can get mad at them. I don't even know who was calling the game, Ben. I don't even know who was on the broadcast, but I was listening to them. We announced yesterday that Landon Knack was going to be the starter because that's what Dave Roberts had originally said. Landon Knack will start the game.
The Dodgers announced.
The Dodgers
did,
yeah. And then we reported it. And the Diamondbacks apparently were on the plane studying the tendencies of one Landon Knack. And then Dave Roberts, the last possible second, switches it up and goes to the lefty, and his name is Jack Dreyer, who's been pretty good for them. And again, probably should have been out of that inning, without the errors. And so Dreyer now is a lefty. So you could tell they were a little bit peeved. They were a little bit kind of like, oh, here we go. Dave's being cute. Last possible minute.
Go Dave Roberts.
Switches up the lineup. And now, like, Tim Tawa is in center and not Alec, Thomas. Thomas. Yeah. So now they're rejiggering what they need to do, right? And so you could tell they were a little like, okay, yeah, it's kind of typical. And they got guys playing kind of out of position. Tommy Edman was fresh off the IL, and they had him at second base instead of center field, and Hyesung Kim at second because Edman's ankle, is a little bit bulky. He's coming off the IL. And, I think Dodger fans, rightfully so, we're like, well, if Tommy Edman is a go, then he's a go. Put him back in center where he belongs. Or, by the way, put like the guy that's become one of the best players in baseball, Andy Pages, in center. You understand you need to give guys days off and things like that. But, you've got a center fielder on your bench. They got a little cutesy last night. It did come back to bite them. But, hey, man, they got pretty cute last year, and they ended up winning a World Series. So Dodger fans were kind of upset with the result. Shohei did go bridge. Mookie, who has not had a good season at all, hit 2 bombs. Seem to be locked in, but yeah, their pitching is it's horrific. It's horrific.
It's kind of stunning to look at the names. I mean, if things went well for the Dodgers, you'd never be seeing Jack Dreyer or Matt Sauer, who pitched the last couple of innings. Knack ended up pitching actually the bulk of the game.
He kind of came in and
he threw 5 innings in the middle of the game. So their studying wasn't in complete vain. And you could say, well, isn't the idea of a manager is to give your team an edge, and if you can do that by switching out the pitcher, late and surprising the other team, why don't all teams do that all the time?
You could also make up stories about players and stuff and go to national media and have them carry your water for you about violent throws over into the dugout. You can do all kinds of stuff to get an edge. I think
most managers, and again, it worked for Dave Roberts last year. It worked in the playoffs. But most managers see, where does that game end? All right, if I start doing it, then my opponent starts doing it, then we're all just dealing with, just a bag of surprises all year long. And we've turned this long 162 game season into none of us can really prepare because they're going to switch their starting pitcher within 2 hours before game time. So none of us can get into the routines that are so vital to surviving a Major League Baseball season. Every single team kind of needs those routines to survive a Major League Baseball season. So when you go against the norms, and if it's just once or twice, clearly sometimes a pitcher comes up with something later in the day, you have to make a switch. But if you make a habit of it where you're doing that, there's really that's Pandora's box that you're opening up in baseball, that no one really wants to go there in terms of that kind of gamesmanship constantly throughout a very long, grueling season.
Yeah, no question. And again, Dave didn't do anything wrong per se, but they did make it a point to say, one of the broadcasters was like, I was on the plane, we had the lineup ready to go against the righty Knack. Lineup needed to be switched, and everybody wanted to, we're studying everything. And again, they ended up using those tendencies from Landon Knack anyway, because he did pitch the bulk middle innings there, but you got to prepare for something different. You had to change your lineup, and it paid off. Tim Tawa had a couple of knocks and made a couple of really nice catches in center. So, no harm, no foul. But yeah, it was something that they noticed and, kind of made a big deal. Not a big deal, but they definitely mentioned it on the broadcast, and it was interesting. And again, man, having guys out of position or, hoping that these guys are able to fill those roles. It didn't seem like that's what the Dodgers' plan was this season. But remember, Teoscar just got back. Edman got back. They're going to be fine. They still hit home runs. They're a prodigious offense. Didn't have it last night, but can they prevent runs? The defense was bad and the pitching was bad. That's not a good recipe for success. But I think Snell's progressing. Glasnow's throwing. Make no mistake, they will hit a streak where they win 15 in a row, at some point. So you got to make sure you're in a good spot too.
So yeah, the Dodgers aren't bad. I don't think anyone's trying to make that
argument,
poorly. But they're just not special the way that I think they anticipated, and quite frankly, a lot
everybody
of us
else
anticipated they would be. If you look at the National League standings, just the entire league standings right now, the Phillies all of a sudden have the best record in the National League, just out of kind of nowhere. Haven't really been making a lot of waves this year, but they beat the Rockies 9-3. Kyle Schwarber hit his 300th career home run yesterday. So they're now 29-18, 11 games above 500. The Dodgers, 29-19, 10 games above 500. The Mets, 29-19, 10 games above 500. The Padres, 27-18, 9 games above 500. The Cubs, 28-20, 8 games above 500. The Giants, 28-20, 8 games above 500. The Cubs and Giants both lost yesterday. The Giants, who have been taking advantage of the Padres and Dodgers losing over the weekend to gain some ground, they lost to the Royals 3-1 as Vinny Pasquantino hit a 2-run home run to break a scoreless tie in the 8th inning. Cubs lost to the Marlins on a walk-off 2-run triple by Jesus Sanchez 8-7. And the team that has just jumped out of nowhere now to be in that same group with a 27-21 record, St. Louis Cardinals, who won again. They've won 13 of 15 now after they beat the Tigers, a really good team, 11-4. Survived a rain. They came out of a rain delay firing with 5 runs.
What is happening in St. Louis, man? It's mind-boggling to me.
Nolan Arenado's being asked to move down in the lineup.
He asked to move down. They didn't ask him. He went to the skipper and said, I'm hitting like ass. The guys above me deserve to be moved up, and they moved him. And they said, yeah, okay, wherever you feel more comfortable. I thought that was a pretty savvy veteran move by him.
Yeah, there's currently 10 teams in the National League with winning records, starting with the Reds at a game above 500. The Braves have now climbed above 500 at 24-23. Diamondbacks aren't going to go anywhere. You can tell they're a good team.
Bro,
they're 26-22.
Geraldo Perdomo hitting in the 9 spot for them. I watched that lineup last night. I went, oh my God. I mean, they still got, there's still those guys like Pavin Smith, but even he's off to a pretty good start this year, Benny. that lineup is nasty, dude. It's nasty. And Brandon Pfaadt was unbelievable. And I don't know how their bullpen's doing, but Pfaadt was great. And you look at their 1 through 9, and you got an all-star playing shortstop, hitting in the 9-hole for you. They're going to be tough.
Now, remember, only 6 of those 10 teams that I just mentioned can make the playoffs at the end of the year.
No doubt.
There's going to be some good teams
that are sitting and watching.
That don't make it to October. Some really decent, solid teams. Obviously, we hope the Padres aren't one of them, but no one's really separated themselves out now. Not the Dodgers, not the Mets, not the Padres, not the Phillies, not the Cubs. They've all had good stretches and not so great stretches now here early in the season, and now they're all jumbled. Those teams all within, a game and a half in the standings at the top of the National League. It is truly nothing has changed almost since opening day at this point.
You're right. And it's weird. Does it feel like May to anyone? As much as I'm looking at the standings and watching what the Giants and the D-backs and Dodgers are doing every night, it certainly doesn't feel like May. I don't have the sense internally, Ben, that I'm like, what do they always say? Evaluate us, after 80 games. It's wild. We're evaluating this team on a daily basis because, you feel like you can't afford 3, 4, 5, 6 game skids with the incredible teams that are in the NL right now.
And
last night I'm sitting there rooting. Like, I bet on the Cubs, but I was rooting for the Marlins because I need the Cubs to lose. We want these teams.
Come on, Marlins.
It made me proud last night.
And well, you're right. Standings. Watching the standings day to day at this point in the season,
insanity.
Doesn't matter. What doesn't matter is like a game here, a game there, but the overall trend of the standings is very important. And the overall trend right now is that there are 9 or 10 really decent teams in the National League. Now, there'll be injuries, things will change as the summer goes on, but you've got to keep an eye on all of these teams now and how they're trending over the next few months to see who you're really competing against for postseason spots at the end of the year.
Caitlin just crushed it. It's like she's a host on this show. She said, what is with all of this Juan Soto drama? And I said, well, how did you know what we were going to talk about today? It's insane. We want to do it here. We want to save it.
Let's save it. We'll get to it at the bottom of the hour. We got Don't Do This coming up next. Woods, you've youth baseball or youth softball gone nuts.
Youth parents, man.
And I have a PGA Tour golfer forced to apologize for his temper tantrum outburst at the PGA Championship.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
Oh.
It was not you. We'll get to that coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Before we get to traffic, though, I want to tell you about sdfatloss.com. I still get on the scale every morning just to make sure that I have maintained my weight loss. I have. Over 2 years now. I started the program 2 summers ago, almost 2 years ago this month, and I lost 40 pounds in 60 days, which was great. It's awesome. I mean, that's the hard part. You get through the first 2 months, but I'd lost weight before. I'd always gained it back, especially over the next year and a half. This time it's been different. Thanks to the sdfatloss.com program that relies on real food, I was able to follow their maintenance plan, and that has helped me keep the weight off this entire time. It is an absolute difference maker for me. It can be a difference maker for you. Find out how you can lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days by setting up a free consultation at sdfatloss.com. You'll find out about the program, how you don't need to take any injections or drugs. You don't need to buy any shakes or bars, and you don't need to exercise to lose weight. Just real food, eating at the right times, the right quantities. Follow it for a couple of months and reset your metabolism. Helps you keep the weight off for good like it has for me. Please give it a try. And if you do it now in the month of May, it's not too late to take advantage of their spring special, $200 off before summer really hits. So do it today. Go to sdfatloss.com. Get that free consultation. sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Got some Padres tickets to give away here in just a couple of minutes. First, though, DDT is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. Golf is a frustrating sport. I should know. I have played for over 40 years, and it's been mostly frustrating for the 40 years. Got a little too frustrating for Wyndham Clark, former U.S. Open champion, was, I think, like 3 over par. PGA Championship this weekend on the 16th tee box, and you can see his shot. They have the tracer, and it just starts sailing to the right, big, long slice, way off track, and he got really frustrated. He turned around, though, and absolutely Happy Gilmore style chucked his driver as hard as he could at the back of the tee box, and it flew into some of the signage, created a hole in the signage, nearly hit one of the volunteers and the track man that was, doing all the stats behind it. The driver snapped off. He threw it in the trash and finished, obviously, his round without that club.
Just with a 3-wood.
He is apologizing.
Who was it?
Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark.
Major champion,
is he a hothead by nature?
I didn't realize if he was. I had not seen any outbursts like this in the past. He did issue an apology for his rage, but he should expect, according to PGA Tour insiders, a hefty fine. Now, they don't publicize the fines, but that kind of behavior is probably going to come with a serious price tag for Wyndham Clark. It's dangerous to throw a club like that. He threw it hard.
Like winged it,
Like
just
just absolutely chucked it as hard as he could.
damn people. Go back to your shanties. How am I supposed to chip? Man, it's again, hey, listen, sports rage is all the rage right now.
Yeah.
Leading us to our next story out of Astoria, Oregon. Adults again behaving badly in youth sports. A tale as old as time. Girl comes up to the plate. Brynlee Stevens. She is an 11-year-old softball player from Astoria, Oregon. Smokes a line drive, and then this happened. Now I'll tell you, she's 5'10" in 5th grade, and listen, that's going to happen. Some kids hit their growth spurts early, and they're tall, and it happens. And this is what happened. You can hear the coach did not like that line drive at all, and panicked, and this happened. I want to see birth certificates or this game's done, as he is out of the dugout across the first baseline yelling, screaming. There was a bit of a hubbub, brouhaha. This poor girl is just sitting there like, what did I do? All I did was get a base knock here. And the parents in the stands rightfully were giving it to him. He turns around, flips them the bird. Was not a great scene. They had a little audio from young Brynlee as well.
I want to see birth certificates when this game's done. It was like scary, them like coming at me.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at him like, what the heck is going on?
We were upset, but we took it to the association and hoping that they do better and reprimand him, hold him accountable for his actions.
So one assistant coach has been suspended for the year, and another was suspended for 10 days with probation for the year. The tournament organizer said, we're still investigating the incident. The player did nothing wrong. She's just tall and skilled for her age. It's embarrassing, dude. It's absolutely embarrassing.
This guy's humiliated.
As he should be.
Yeah.
As he should be. It's something that obviously I fear. And I don't want to get into it with another coach in front of the kids. I never have, and hopefully I never will. It's not something that I want to. It's not healthy for the kids. And they said something to the effect
there will be something. I don't know if it's going to be with another coach or a parent. It's coming.
It's coming. There's no question.
It's inevitable.
I will say, and Caitlin asked, WTF is wrong with people. And this is horrible what this guy did. I do think parents tend to get over emotional sometimes when they see their kids looking very small compared to someone who's very big, and they feel frightened. I think it's fear that causes people to get angry like that.
It's fear and it's ego too.
I'm sure there's some ego to it, but I think he probably worked himself up going, this isn't fair. My kid's out here with this girl who, should be playing with bigger, older girls, and it's not safe for I'm sure he got himself worked up that way. What he did, of course, was entirely inappropriate and unacceptable. Yeah. This girl did nothing wrong. She's just tall. She's just tall for her age.
And according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, 70% of kids quit playing organized sports by age 13 because of the pressure from adults who they say make the games stop being fun. It's interesting, man, the way the parent's mind works. And just as an aside, we have our last Little League game tonight, and I've loved it. My kids are incredible. We've had a great season. We don't keep score, right? We're not keeping score yet. We've demolished some teams and had some fun, and my guys have played really well. I heard that the president of the league is getting emails from other parents about how it's not fair. But I can't for the life of me imagine sitting down, cracking my knuckles, going to my Yahoo account and writing the commissioner, this team we played was too good. Nobody's 12. They're all the same age. Some of them are bigger. Some of them are smaller. You got kids on other teams that are younger playing up. That happens. It's okay. Like, what? Like, your kid getting his or her ass kicked on the field sometimes, it's actually really good for them. It actually is.
In every league, at every level, whether the kids are 6 or 18 or whether it's professionals, someone has to be the best team and someone has to be the worst.
100%. And
you can't avoid that. That's the reality of team sports.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Can't get mad every time you're not the best team.
Kevin, our buddy who we play against in the chat, says that's why the tier ones got promoted last year, because people were mad that we were too good in the lower division. So we took it like a champion. We've lost 5 in a row. And it's good for us. It's good for us. Like, I hate it. I hate losing.
Well, that happens in soccer a lot. Teams that play well in the lower divisions get promoted, but they're not good enough for the upper division, so they get relegated, and then they go back to dominating the division again, and then they get promoted, and then they get relegated again. They're just kind of right on the line of which league they should be in.
You know what I haven't done? Text the commissioner. This league's too hard because we're getting our ass handed to us. But we're wearing it. Like, we're wearing it. We continue to try. We want to get better.
Next Sunday, if somebody's shoving against us, I'm gonna be like, I need to see a birth certificate.
I need a birth certificate. Did you play Pro Bowl? I think it's allowed. Like, you just wear it. Some days you're the bug. Some days you're the windshield. It happens.
Finally, we got a story with a do this happy ending.
DD mega do.
Starts with a don't do this, though. A viral video on social media showed some Knicks fans celebrating their series victory over the Boston Celtics. They were on the streets of New York, and they ran into a Indiana Pacers fan. New York has fans of all stripes, and he was wearing his Tyrese Halliburton jersey. They're about to face now the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
He was in New York?
He was in New
wearing
York.
A Pacers jersey.
Well, yeah, but they weren't playing the Pacers at the time.
They're getting ready to.
Well, yeah, but that was the same night that then the Knicks had beaten the Celtics to advance. They decided, let's give this guy a hard time.
New York welcome.
And they started heckling him, and then they started pelting him with bags of garbage. His name is Hans Perez. He went on the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
Like, of course, I don't condone that, but don't walk into Yankee Stadium in a Red Sox jersey.
All right, but it's not. So you can never wear your own. If you leave your city and go to New York, you can never support your team again.
Look,
because
I've already we had people in the chat this morning going, I wouldn't wear that Phillies gear. I wouldn't wear your Padres gear in Philly. I go,
absolutely not.
But if they're not playing, let's say they weren't playing the Padres, you can't ever wear any other team's gear in Philly.
There's people in full Dodgers uniforms at every friggin' game at Petco.
Right.
They don't get pelted with trash.
And they shouldn't. So anyway, he told his story. He's a firefighter, lifelong Pacers fan. Tyrese Halliburton heard about the story,
so cool.
And he has invited Hans Perez to be his guest for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
So
that's really cool.
To Indianapolis, going to fly him back to Indy, host him at the game, so he can enjoy and cheer for Tyrese in person against the New York Knicks in Indiana. Which is
let me ask you this:
cool move,
worth getting pelted with garbage to have the star player fly you out?
I think so. And by the way, Halliburton has been the surprise star of this postseason, both on the court and now off the court with this move as well. He has really upped his value essentially during this postseason and increased his Q rating, I would say, among NBA circles. Already a great player, but now he's really coming into his own. And that is don't and do this for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, before we talk about all the drama that took place at Fenway Park, both with the manager of the Red Sox and an outfielder for the Mets, going to give away some tickets for the Padres Marlins game next Tuesday. If you'd like to show up and get one of the hoodies, the military hoodies they're giving away, be the fifth caller right now at 833-288-0973. Fifth caller, 833-288-0973. It's the Padres Marlins on May 27th. Hoodies are back. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a free Padres military hoodie. And for the first time ever, the hoodie will feature a print similar to the Salute to Service Sunday jerseys. Get your tickets at Padres.com/tickets. All right, we'll come back, talk about the drama in Boston with Juan Soto and Alex Cora coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Well, but first of all, listen, we just did don't do this. Don't spend your life living with constant pain in your joints. Do call QC Kinetics today. This will change your life dramatically, just like it did for me. I'm off to the gym as soon as the show's over today. I'm trying to lift heavier weights every single week. I couldn't even imagine that I'd be able to do this 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, whenever it was that I went into QC Kinetics. Been talking about them for a long time. Will carry this message for as long as they will have me, because it has been such a life changer for me. So if you're living with joint pain, your knees, your shoulders, your hips, your back, anything like that, mine was my wrists. You guys know it well. Went into QC Kinetics, regenerative cell therapy, restored the tissue in my very, very painful to the touch wrists. And it's just been a total game changer for me. Back playing baseball, playing golf, doing all the things that I love to do, playing the guitar, able to play with my kids every single day. Listen, if your life is miserable, you can call QC Kinetics, at least get a free consultation from them. 619-614-PAIN, 619-614-PAIN. Get back to summer is like, we can see it knocking on the door. It's going to be so beautiful, so much to do in our amazing city. Don't be off the bike. Don't be off the golf course. Don't be out of the water because of your joint pain. Call QC Kinetics today. Get this thing going right now. 619-614-PAIN. Let them know when you call that Woodsy sent you. It's QC Kinetics.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
Everybody else who's calling in might have another chance tomorrow to win some Padres Marlins tickets. Of course, Padres are in Toronto, but the drama right now in the AL East centers around Boston, both with the home team, and we'll get to Alex Cora in just a minute.
So interesting.
And the heat he was taking from Boston radio, and the visiting team, the New York Mets, who are in Boston this week to take on the Red Sox, and Juan Soto, who has been in the headlines. In fact, quite a few. One of them was shared by our boss, Adam Klug, on an email thread to all the hosts and producers at 97.3 The Fan. And one of our colleagues actually responded to it. It's the story that Juan Soto is essentially unhappy with the New York Mets. That according to Michael Kay, who's a Yankees broadcaster and New York host, Michael Kay says he's very, very glum. He's talked to people with the Mets. They deny it, but Juan Soto's kind of moping and frowny, and he wishes he had stayed with the Yankees and not gone to the New York Mets. And you can tell by his body language.
The old body language experts,
Yeah, he's not off to the hottest of starts, although the Mets have gotten off to a good start as a team. Juan Soto was not off to the best of starts. It was then compounded yesterday when, after I think he grounded into a double play, I think, in his previous at-bat. In the sixth inning, hit a high, deep fly to left at Fenway that he kind of waited for a second and admired, but it didn't go over the green monster, and he ended up with a long, long single off the monster. And Mets fans were unhappy. Even manager Carlos Mendoza said, I'll talk to him about making sure he's hustling out of the box on plays like that. So Juan Soto is certainly at the center of a New York controversy. Again.
By the way, his Savant page looks like a murder scene. It's all red.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
It's all red. I mean, it looks like a murder
As
scene.
Juan Soto's Savant pages
Usually
look like.
Yeah.
And on that email thread that was started by Adam, had a couple of responses by one, Tony Gwynn Jr., who I love this.
I loved it too.
Because we have Tony actually on the line from Toronto with us. He responded to Adam and said, I'm sorry, this article is ridiculous. Then, on second thought, maybe not. And then I'm back to my original stance. This article is ridiculous.
Tony, are you running for office? Why the flip-flop?
That was a real life experience, right?
Yeah.
I read the article, and then I got downstairs and I was expressing my dislike for it. And then Jesse kind of gave me his opinion on it.
Of course he does.
and then so I initially kind of, all right, well, I'm going to reread it. And because my guy Jesse's telling me this, maybe I need to try to look at it from different. So I read it again this morning with fresh of anything. Like I just kind of removed myself from it. And I just came away with my original thought. Like, I personally, I get tired of the rat race, man. Yeah. It's like everybody's opinion seems to have to matter, right? And if that article, in particular one we're talking about, wasn't, if it just went with the facts, nobody would have read it, right? The facts in that particular article we read was that, Soto didn't, he had agreed to do the mic'd up thing, and then he changed his mind.
Yep.
Okay, but that's not all that exciting. Like we see guys do that all the time, and it's just like whether it's Twitter, whether it's TV, it's just like all these opinions just flying out there. It's just too much sometimes.
Jesse's done that to me before. I will text him something in a fervor, hoping that he will agree with me, and then it's like
that's kind of where I was at.
He like slaps me down, and then I have like tail between my legs, and I'm like, all right, you're right. And then I do the same thing. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go with my gut here, man. He did the same thing with me. I will say this about the whole Juan Soto situation. Look, there's the two sides of the fence where, hey man, you made your bed. It's a very luxurious bed. You're gonna get a lot of money, and you just go play ball and you're gonna be fine. Man, when I saw the response he got in New York, who rented him for a year, right? He was there for only a season, took them to the World Series, played pretty well in the playoffs, had some really, really big hits.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, and then he tipped his cap, and I've never heard boos like that at Yankee Stadium. I mean, not even for Pedro Martinez. Like, it was as bad as I've ever heard it. And I thought to myself, he's going to get worn out in right field. And he did. I thought, that's got to get to a guy. It just does. It has to get to a guy. And I can absolutely understand why he was like, no, man, I don't feel like talking anymore about the Yankees and Aaron Judge. I think I'm going to pass on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've heard boos like this before. I think the only difference is, as a matter of fact, I don't know if there's a difference. I just think we're in the moment, and so now we're reacting to the moment.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Juan Soto has not been himself all season long. And at least initially, all we were talking about when we talked about Juan Soto was that he was struggling. But so now we have a 3-game set in New York in which he doesn't play. He continues not to play well. He has a really bad series. And the human element is wearing on him, right? He's a little pouty a little bit. He's kind of in his own feelings. But that isn't different than anything else that we see. Like, it wasn't that long ago where people were saying Toddy's body language looked all crazy and wasn't that right? Don't hear anything about him. This is how, it goes when you are in the fire of playing games, right? You would love to just wake up every morning, know you got to do these certain things, do those things, but that's just not how it is. You don't like sucking. No one likes sucking. And so sometimes that bleeds out into, appearances of whatever. That does not then mean that, the moment in New York at Yankee Stadium was too big for him. He was struggling before. I'm sure he wanted to go in there and have a good series, and he didn't. They gave it to him. And credit to Yankee fans, man, they do what they always do when a guy like that comes into town. They wear him out.
They wore him out.
He would have loved it. He would have loved to have had a series in which he could shut him up and do the Soto thing, but that's just not where it's at. He'll have another opportunity at some point.
By the way, most players would happily suck with an 815 OPS. I know Juan can do a lot better than that, but it's not like he's the worst player in baseball or anything like that. Tony, I want it because you just mentioned the body language thing. And to me, that's my pet peeve. Fans, media, we have to stop trying to read the body language, especially of baseball players over 162 game season. It's one of the most ridiculous things where we try to interpret someone's deepest emotions by watching how they walk out to the field. And in San Diego, we should have learned our lesson long ago. Juan Soto has his own body language. So does Luis Arias. So does Manny Machado. So does Fernando Tatis Jr. And
so does Jackson Merrill. I mean,
it all
for
looks
real.
different, and it's okay. I mean, it's all right that they can all be their own people and have different body language. And you were an athlete. You had to be out there in the spotlight. I mean, I just can't even imagine if someone was trying to interpret my body language every single day.
I do it to him every day. And if that was the case, we'd never win a game. His body language.
I think we all watch sports a lot of times to kind of remove ourselves from our regular daily grinds and so we pick up on things like that, or we think we pick up on things like that. But the reality is, when you are out on the field, and even in our regular jobs, right? There are certain days you wake up and you don't feel like yourself, right? You're not in the best mood. You're a little grouchy. Those things, as much as we try to like mask them, occasionally they pop out, and that's okay. That's kind of how it works. And in the baseball realm, where you're under the microscope every single day. You got cameras, picking up even the smallest little things. I think we have to stop kind of taking a segment of, not even a segment, seconds of time, and then applying that in a bigger mass. And I just think, I just think the way we cover it now, it kind of lends itself to that at times. We've got more access than we've ever had, and I think sometimes the human element gets lost in all this. It didn't mean though that sometimes body language isn't shown. I mean, it definitely can be, but I think we are in a spot now where we are rushing to try to make a judgment all the time in those spots.
Tony, enjoy Toronto. Have a good broadcast, and we will see you when you get back home next week.
Thank you, fellas. You guys have a good day.
Thank you, buddy.
Tony Gwynn Jr., you'll hear him today with Bob Scanlon on the radio broadcast here on 97.3 The Fan. 4:07 first pitch against the Toronto Blue Jays. Our Jesse Agler, who will be with us in less than an hour, going to be on the television broadcast side for tonight's game. All right, we're going to check traffic. We'll react a little bit more to Juan Soto and then talk about why Alex Cora is also in the fan and media torture chamber in Boston this week. Coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, a 15-minute drive-through oil change. Still a number of problems on our roads. Crash on northbound 805 just past 43rd. It's over to the right shoulder. Also, westbound King Freeway just past College. We have reports of an accident over the right shoulder, but fire crews got that right lane blocked. Collision on the transition ramp west 8 to the northbound 15 connector. That's over to the right shoulder. Northbound side of the 15 before the 78 got a collision over to the right shoulder. Couple vehicles involved. And westbound 78 cleared this overturn crash before Emerald. It's now over to the right shoulder. San Diego, before you cruise out this Memorial Day, stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed, just 15 minutes, and your road trip ready. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Experts you can trust. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, I think the funny thing, Woods, is yes, Juan Soto is hitting 246. He's off to a slow start. Probably would have gotten off to a slow start with the Yankees. It probably has nothing to do with the fact that he's playing for the Mets. And guess who would have been the hardest on him? Yankees fans. If he had been struggling at the plate, they would not have given him a pass just because he had signed a $700 million contract with them instead of New York. They'd be tearing him to shreds right now either way, whether he's on their team or on the other team in New York. They'd be tearing him to shreds. He can't win. Juan Soto cannot win.
He cannot win. I mean, honestly, man, if he hits, the only way for him to win is to hit 375 with 48 home runs and 138 RBI, and then and the World Series. And to know that every year, gnarly, man. Again, this guy has faced an immense amount of pressure in his career. Some of it is self-imposed. I mean, you turned down 440 from the Nats. Everyone laughed at him. Everybody roundly mocked him. Padres fans, Nationals fans, national media. Guys like, all right, how about I parlay this and do $300 million more. He bet on himself. He won. And now he's got to live with those expectations, playing in New York, playing across the street from the team he took to the World Series. It's great. I told my wife the other day, I go, the interesting thing is that in the Steinbrenner era, there's no way he puts on a Met uniform. There's just no chance. And I think Yankee fans are pissed about that. There's no way. There's no way
taking it out on Soto.
There's no way George Steinbrenner goes, yeah, go ahead. No chance.
I don't know that there's any big dollar baseball player that can win for an extended period of
You're
time.
absolutely right. Manny will never.
At some point, even Aaron Judge, who is winning right now.
Oh, he'll get his.
But at some point, he's going to be older and overpaid, and he will start hearing it.
No,
because when you sign for that much, he already does.
Yeah.
But when you sign for that much money, there's no winning. There's temporary reprieves from the constant judgment and disappointment of fans that you're not living up to your big contract because for a month or two you are. And then you're not again, and then you're just wearing it constantly as an athlete. And you know what? And they get paid for that. That's part of what they get paid for.
It's part of the to soften the blow. They make a lot of money, man. Aaron Judge makes a ton of money. Juan Soto makes a ton of money.
Now, managers, they make okay money, but they certainly don't make the kind of money that superstar players do. And I thought this was an interesting story that involved Alex Cora on the other side of the dugout.
Saw this yesterday. Some Boston Red Sox fans were tweeting out about a guy named Felger.
Oh, yes.
Felger. I don't know what his show is. I don't know who he works for, but I
Felger.
listened to this audio and they're like, oh, Felger's at it again. So I go, ooh, what did they say about Red Sox skipper Alex Cora?
So the graduation was 10. They were, I believe.
Pause. His daughter graduated college yesterday, I believe college at BC. And it's apparently 4 miles down the road from Fenway Park. And this is what they're saying.
So the graduation was 10. They were, I believe, done by noon, which means you have a nice big party in the middle of the day. And he's not going to be at the game?
You could even show up a little late.
That is crazy. That to me is crazy. It's one thing for the players who, as part of the union and the CBA, get, paternity leaves and personal leaves and all this, which is a whole nother story. But this is like a manager.
If you wanted to take 1 million photos with your family, stuff your face, you should at the latest be done by 3:30.
It's crazy.
So he took the day off entirely. He took the entire day off for his daughter's graduation. Game was at 6:40, whatever.
Right. Night game.
They went on. They did this for like an hour, back and forth on.
That's crazy to me.
That's crazy to me too.
That they spent more than 30 seconds on this topic.
And they wore him out pretty good throughout the course of the day. Do they have a case?
No.
I don't think so either.
I mean, if the Red Sox
logistically, yes, you have a case.
If the Red Sox went out and played, looked incompetent and rudderless because Alex Cora's leadership was missing, maybe, but Red Sox won the game.
They won the game.
They won the game 3-1. Managers, they don't do that much during the game. Sorry, Mike.
Save that. Save that for a couple weeks.
They do a lot of work. Spring
boy.
training, getting the team ready, setting the tone. In the game, the bench coach, anybody can make the same decisions. It's not constantly pulling the trigger on. You're not a play caller in the NFL,
right? Yeah, the offensive coordinator, or whatnot. He got dragged, but
I think they went over the top.
Helps when they win.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back. We got 2 hours left, including Jesse Agler. Take on Woods ahead. It's Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
are halfway home on a Tuesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Thank you so much for joining us this morning and every morning, any morning you choose to do so. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer of the program. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Our friend Emily Nyman, who we adore, Yankees fan, she tweeted yesterday, New York media is just Real Housewives for men. And I said, man, you've nailed it. And I do get the sense now that is. And KG in the chat said, man, rage bait has just killed the media business. And I said, you're absolutely right. And you want to try to refrain from it as much as you can. We're guilty of it. I'm guilty of it for sure. I like rage baiting Dodger fans. It's fun. I don't engagement farm. I don't pay for Twitter, so I don't get any money off of it. I'm just a sadist, I think.
It'd be different. It'd be like if we put out clips every day of you or any of us performative, like trying to get reaction from Dodger fans, and that's just not us.
That's just not what
they could probably clip something out of context or just a throwaway comment here or there throughout our 4-hour shows.
No doubt.
But we're not like going out there and seeking it.
No. I mean, it pays well. We've put some clips up before, and they make some money on YouTube.
Thanks again for the Philadelphia trip, guys.
Yeah, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
It is interesting how in media and social media, we throw common sense out the window so often because we're having this discussion about a radio host in Boston who is lighting up Alex Cora for missing a game for his daughter's graduation. Thought he could still make it by game time.
Right.
And, we were talking about us taking days off at the start of our show for our vacation to Philadelphia in July. And, tier ones are sounding off about that. It's funny because no one in their right mind would say that it is healthy or smart to just work every single day and never take any days for themselves or their family or to relax or to enjoy themselves. There's not a person on earth who wouldn't say, no, that you're much better off if you can balance work and life a little bit.
Adam Klug would say that. But other than that, no, that's it.
But honestly, I mean, your boss wants you to work because, that benefits them. But anyone with half a brain would say that it is very important to do things for yourself from time to time, be healthy, exercise,
do
take
things
time
for
with
your family. Yeah.
Go on vacation. It's all about balance. You also can't just, take half the days off and all of a sudden, feel like you're doing your job. You still get your job done. Yet we hold athletes, managers to these impossible standards that aren't even healthy to be there. I was saying to Paulie during the break, managers are not players. Managers have a year-round schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, they get there hours before players do most game days. Mike Shildt, when we talk to him on Friday mornings, he's oftentimes already at the ballpark. Players won't get there for another 5 hours, and he's already working every single one of those days. And I was saying to Paulie, they should mandate, like every manager takes at least 1 or 2 series off every single year to get away, hang out with your family, go on vacation, go sit by a pool somewhere for 3 days. They've got plenty of coaches, got plenty of analytics guys and GMs that can make a few decisions while you are gone. Get some mental health time, because when the season ends, it's not like they shut it down for 5 months. They got exit meetings. They've got evaluations. They got fall league and guys to evaluate. They go to the winter meetings. I mean, yeah, it's not quite as busy as during the season, but it ain't a vacation when they're off. Players, they're still training and going to the cages and stuff.
They take time.
They got plenty of time in the off season. They can play through the season. That's part of that job. But for managers, they don't get that time off. They absolutely, one day for Alex Cora is nothing anybody should be up in arms about if you're a Boston Red Sox fan.
Blue Meanie says he disagrees they should take a series off. Maybe a game, I mean, again, if you need to miss a game, Darvish had his personal leave last year for whatever it was for. I had zero problem with it. Zero. I mean, yeah, it stinks not watching Darvish
3 months.
Yeah, it was a long time. But I think, for this, look, you guys know we talk a lot about mental health on this show. Alex Cora, that's not even a mental health break. I'm going to go watch my daughter graduate and be in it fully, not to where I'm looking at my watch going, I got to get to the yard. I'm sure his daughter appreciated it very much, because I'm sure she's grown up with a dad that hasn't been around a ton because he's been traveling. And when she graduates
Her whole
college,
life.
you can't, her whole life. He was a player, manager, like her entire life. Dad's been traveling. Dad's been busy. Dad took the entire day. I think that speaks volumes about the kind of person he is. And, I don't think he should be dragged for that.
I think it's like, it's honestly, it's no different than like skipping school in high school because you had something really awesome to do or go to. Like I skipped school to go to opening day my senior year, and I got to watch Ken Griffey Jr. hit one last opening day home run. You know what I would?
Do you still regret it to this day that you missed school?
Yes, I should have gotten ripped by everybody around me for that. Like you don't remember Alex Cora in 30 years won't remember that Friday or whatever game, that Monday game against the Mets. But he's going to remember seeing his daughter graduate college.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's important.
No doubt about it. But yeah, man, it's, sports is different. People are a little bit more open about things. We just talked about Juan Soto, his body language. I watched that guy just get crushed. I watched him get crushed at Yankee Stadium. It's got to affect the person. It has to. He didn't feed off of it at all. In fact, it kind of went the other way. He didn't. Some guys will, you say, yeah, make me the villain, boo me. I love it. I'm going to perform better. I know I wouldn't. I think I would venture to say many of you listening out there probably wouldn't either. Just knowing, how the majority of people are. So it's certainly an interesting conversation.
It is an interesting conversation, and I don't anticipate things are going to change necessarily. I don't think managers are going to start taking a series off during the season. But if everybody did it and we normalized it, like, hey, Mike Shilt's taking 3 days off in June, but guess what? Dave Roberts has taken 3 in July. Bob Melvin's taken 3 off in August somewhere, and they all do it. Then it's normalized, and no one feels like, oh, it's so weird that he's doing it, and he's, opening himself up to a bunch of criticism. Just make it like a normal thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because and Blue Meanie said, a day off here or there is fine. You can't plan anything a day off. I mean, if you really want to get away from work, you need at least 2 or 3 days away from the job. If you're just going for one day, all of a sudden, by the time you're there, you're already thinking about tomorrow and the next day's game. Right. You have to have if you're really going to take a little mental health respite. It has to be multiple
like a
days.
3-game series with an off day right before it or something, or right after.
Going in or out of the All-Star break, something like that.
And they get the All-Star break, a lot of managers do, to a chance to reset. But I promise you, they're not, the players shut it down. If they're not playing in the game, they shut it down. And we've talked to them before. They really enjoy the All-Star break. Who doesn't?
You see players will go on like a vacation. They'll take their family and they'll go to the beach somewhere. Like they'll be gone for a few days. I promise you, I'd be surprised if any manager actually leaves and goes on a vacation with their family or anything during the All-Star break. I bet they are at home relaxing, but I promise you they're game planning and getting ready for the second half.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, I got a big announcement that I wanted to do. I should have probably teased it, but so it was probably about a week ago. I came in here and was telling you guys about the idea that I had, which was the men's group, and sat on it for a while. Just a place for guys to get together and talk. That's all it is a place to get together to share things. Mental health is very important to me. Strong mental health is very important to me. I fall massively short all the time. I'm still learning. I'm not a therapist by any stretch, but I've secured a location and I've secured a date, and I wanted to do it here. I came up with a name. The name of the group is just going to be called The Work. That's what it is. It's The Work. That's all.
Love that.
Yeah, I liked it too. It made sense to me. Paulie's got the logo. He's going to put it up on the YouTube feed. And our first meeting, I guess, if you will, is going to be this Saturday. And it was kind enough of our friend Tommy Arthur from Lost Abbey. He reached out immediately and said, you can use our place. And I said, Tommy, I'm a little bit reluctant to do it at a bar. I'll be honest with you. In my mind, it wasn't like, hey, let's all get together for beers. and he goes, no. He goes, you can come in a couple hours before we open even. They're going to open it up for us. There's no frills, guys. It's bring your own coffee, bring your own water, whatever. And The Work is what we're there to do. And it's going to be this Saturday at 11 a.m. And it's at the Lost Abbey Tasting Room, which is 155 Mata Way, Mata, in San Marcos. 11 o'clock. I don't know how many people are going to come. If one person comes, I'm elated. You and I will sit and talk about it. Couple of things that I want to kind of make clear. It's not a meet and greet. I don't want to talk Padres baseball. That's not what we're meeting for. This is there to do the work about what's going on in our lives, men being able to talk to other men and say, hey, man, I'm having a hard time. This is why. What can we do? And just letting guys know it's okay. You're not soft. It's the opposite. To get in your car and drive down there to sit and listen and share is the opposite of soft. It's strength. And that's what I want. I want to create a place for people to come. And it's not about accountability. We're not going to hand out chips and stuff like, hey, here's your, it's not like that. It's not like an AA meeting. It's about vulnerability it's not accountability. It's vulnerability. Being able to come in and say, I'm not good or I need help, and to have people around you that don't judge you and just are there to listen for you.
There should be an expectation of some confidentiality.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously you'll be talking to people who were there, but it's not something that's going to be Woods won't be telling stories about it on the air.
No. I mean, I'll share
on Monday.
I'll share, but I won't be like, hey, man, this guy Eddie came in and boy, is he, having a hard time. No, just a place where I'm safe here, man. I can come in. The guy that I listen to on the radio is also going through the same things that I'm going through, and to let you know, because it's just beaten into men our whole lives that if you ask for help, you're weak. You're the guy on Twitter, it's gay. Oh, all right. I mean, I don't look at it that way. I look at it quite the opposite. We've heard this stuff, these stigmas that have been pounded into our heads for 100 years, longer than that. Sorry, hundreds, forever. That you need to be strong and you need to be stoic and you need to push everything down. No, this is a place you can come and be vulnerable and say, I need help. I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better brother. I want to be a better son. I want to be a better father, whatever it is. This is a place where you can come and you'll feel safe.
And not to diminish any, mental health challenges that the ladies face as well, with unrealistic expectations of being a woman and a mother. And certainly those are real issues, but this is not targeted toward the ladies. It is actually specifically targeted toward men who need to, have trouble expressing themselves and being vulnerable and worried about feeling weak, even though they're dealing with stuff. I know that's what you're kind of going for here.
Yeah, and I got a DM from one of our tier ones, Grace, a couple of weeks ago a week ago when we first started talking about it. She goes, no one has ever said that to women. If if you need therapy or you ask for help, like she's like, it's never been it's always the men that I've met that are like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm just here to tell you, like, it's absolutely okay. This is a total safe place to come and be vulnerable and hang out with guys that are going through similar stuff, and you talk through it together, and maybe be able to breathe a little bit. I know a lot of men that are overworked, overstressed. They feel underappreciated, and just to let you know, a lot of us are out there that feel that way, and you're not by yourself. That's what it is like, you're not by yourself. This is all of us together, dapping each other up, and letting each other know, hey, we're here for each other.
Couple of questions in the chat. Some people are talking about, I can't do it. 11 a.m. Saturdays, family.
I get it.
This is the first one. I mean,
right.
Seeing how it's going to go, things dates, times, locations may change. There may be multiple meetings at some point. This is simply the first one.
This is just the first one.
Diesel asked, does anybody you need to sign up in advance? Are you going to do some sort of?
So here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to figure out how to set up a Discord. And somebody, I think it was KG's idea a week ago, and I was like, I don't want to do this online, but I'm going to set up a Discord, and I'm going to post the meetings, and feel free to come. That's it. And again, there's no frills. We're not going to go climb Mount Whitney together. We're not going to go camping down at the beach. This is us just getting together and talk. This is the work. That's why I called it the work. It's the work. It's not a game. It's the work. And so,
and by the way, no professionally licensed psychologists or psychiatrists. That's not what it is. It's just a group of people who are going to sit together and just talk it out.
So I'm going to put the Discord together today. I will post the location, kind of the agenda, if you will, and then I'll send the link out. We'll post the link tomorrow. You can sign up for the Discord, and then from there, that's going to be kind of the community. So we'll go through the Discord, and then we'll update you on meetings. And again, I ran it by Hannah too, and I said, I don't know, man. Like, it's Memorial Day weekend. People are traveling. Maybe no one shows up. And by the way, maybe no one shows up and I'm sitting there by myself for an hour. That's also fine. I just want you to know that it's there. I'll be there. Memorial Day is a tough weekend. The suicide rate for men this weekend is one of the highest it's at every single year. Kind of important to me to do that on that day. It's not by accident. But to get this thing done, I just needed to take the step and get the place. The place may change eventually. The time will change eventually. The dates will change eventually. This is the first one. And again, it's 11 a.m. Lost Abbey Tasting Room in San Marcos. Now, careful. There's a Lost Abbey on San Marcos Road. That's not it. This is the one on 155 Motto Way, San Marcos. There's parking on the street. We're going to go in. I've got a little amp. I got a microphone. If 100 people show up, great. We'll meet each other and figure it out. Going to be there for about an hour and a half. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this is the one just off the 78 at the Old Stone kind of brewery tasting room on Motto Way.
Yeah, the one in San Marcos, yes.
Yeah. Not
exactly.
the one, not San Leo Hills, but San Marcos.
No.
Yeah.
We're going to the one in San Alejo. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Are you? Because Motto Way is not the one in San
Oh,
Alejo.
no. Did I blow it?
So I thought you were going to do
priceless.
I thought you were going to do San Alejo.
San Alejo is where we're going.
It's not Motto Way in San Alejo.
Son of a.
Sorry.
All right, hang
I'm
on.
glad I caught
no,
you
you
here.
saved me. Here
All
it
right.
is.
Yeah.
The Lost Abbey Sanctuary, 1215 San Alejo Road in San Marcos. Idiot.
All right. I'm glad I caught that one because I wasn't
right.
sure about that because that didn't sound right to me. All right. No. So San Alejo Road.
San Alejo Road.
San
I sure
Alejo
hope
Hills.
everybody finishes
Let me double check.
listens to this
Tommy.
entire segment.
This is a nightmare.
You better check with the Discord before you.
I am the Discord. Wait.
All right. Well, Woods does this. Let's take a quick time out. We need a contestant for Take on Woods.
San Alejo, right?
His head is not in the game at the moment, so this might be a great chance to beat him and qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. 833-288-0973.
Putting the Lost in Lost Abbey. That's exactly right. You see why I need this group? This is unbelievable.
Yeah, Motto Way is a pizza port now, is what they're saying. So,
fantastic.
All right. Woods is going to get it right. We will come back. Call in 833-288-0973. More Ben and Woods coming up after traffic. First, though, Woods, we need to tell them about Trust and Will. Go to trustandwill.com if you want to have the peace of mind of knowing that your documents are taken care of. And by documents, you know what I mean. I mean a will to state, what you want to bequeath to your relatives if you're gone, or even more importantly, a trust to take your assets and find a way to help your family avoid the hassle and cost of probate court, of having the state actually decide what happens to all your stuff because you died intestate, which means you didn't have your documents in place.
Well, and as our Tier 1 Dominic says in the chat every day, because he's going through it, every day he puts in the chat, get a trust, because he is in, there it is, get a trust, folks, from Dominic, who's in probate court right now. So yes, the trust is very important. Go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN when you check out, FAN, and you'll get 20% off and free shipping of your estate documents.
Very important. And of course, that process is months long, sometimes years long. You can actually be costing 3 to 7% of your estate in legal fees. There's no legal fees with trustandwill.com, just a simple fee that we can get 20% off by using the code FAN. No billable hours from lawyers, but you get the real documents that you get to put in your house, in your safe, in your filing cabinet, tucked away for hopefully you won't need them for a long time, but you've got them. You just need to go and answer some simple questions. Get it done today at trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
The bottom of it.
I believe we've sorted it out for you.
It was very. Don't bring up the other one because
right.
I don't want to confuse people. We'll just tell people exactly where the first The Work meeting is. San Alejo. It's at the Sanctuary, Lost Abbey Sanctuary, which is 1215 San Alejo Road, San Alejo Hills, 11 a.m.
Correct.
Saturday.
Don't go to any of the other tasting rooms.
Correct.
Downtown, Cardiff, Vista. Don't go to
Don't
those.
even mention those.
Go to the one in San Alejo Hills.
It's called the Sanctuary.
It is
Which
called
is
the
an
Sanctuary.
appropriate name.
I won't give the other names of any of them. The only one you want to remember is the Sanctuary. This is for Woodsy Group.
Sanctuary. She sells Sanctuary.
Didn't know we have to put in so much The Work to figure out the address.
For the faithful. Do the work. Yeah, it's the first The Work meeting. It sounds a lot like For the Faithful stand as one.
All right.
So yes, Lost Abbey Sanctuary, 1215 San Alejo Road.
All right. Now that we got that taken care of.
Is it taken care of? I feel like it's
hopefully.
not.
I think you did. Let's play a little Take on Woods. All right, a little behind. I'm going to rush through this. Take on Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. We got Scott as our contestant. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. Let's roll.
Let's do it. Bitter Ty Woods, you're going to qualify for the grand prize trip to see Bruno Mars in Vegas at Dolby Live at Park MGM on September 3rd. 2-night stay at the Park MGM. $100 gift card. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Here are your categories. Luck O the Irish. Think O apostrophe in every answer. When is now? All 2-second songs with the word when. And 12 a.m. 5 song titles and artists, including the word midnight. So, Luck O the Irish, When is now, or 12 a.m., Scott?
12 a.m.
12 a.m. All right, today on Take on Woods, 5 song titles and artists that all include the word midnight. You're up first. Woods goes second, and we will compare scores. Beater time. You're in the drawing. Let's just get right to it. Paul, you ready? He is not ready. All right,
Hang
you
on.
have 60
Just gotta cue
seconds.
the music.
Again, you can pass if you don't know one. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question, don't forget you need the song title and the artist
All right, let's do it.
to score that point. Music is cued. The category, 12 a.m. Scott, your time begins when Paul plays our music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
I've got one more. Silver Dollar starts the chorus of which 1970 Allman Brothers classic about a man on the run?
The Midnight Run by Allman Brothers.
Incorrect. Midnight Rider. In 1957, country artist Patsy Cline was thrust into stardom after singing which signature tune on her first national television appearance?
It's About Midnight.
Incorrect. The original song by Jim Weatherly was about a plane to Houston, but Gladys Knight and the Pips changed it around and recorded which Billboard charting hit in 1973?
It's a half past midnight.
Incorrect. Which Australian band is best known for their 1987 hit Beds Are Burning?
Men at Work.
Incorrect. Let's go back to our 2-second song. It doesn't have midnight in it. And time is up. I think you went scoreless, Scott, which means you're not going to win this one. Let's get Woods back in. I'll give the answers at the end. I see some in the chat have gotten some of these right. All right, Scott's score is locked in. Woodsy doesn't get the category. Let's put 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Scott.
After Midnight, Eric Clapton.
Correct. I've got one more. Silver Dollar starts the
Midnight Rider.
Correct. In 1957, country artist Patsy Cline was thrust into stardom after singing which signature tune on her first national television appearance?
Walking After Midnight.
Correct. The original song by Jim Weatherly was about a plane to Houston, but Gladys Knight and the Pips changed it around.
Midnight Train to Georgia.
Correct. Which Australian band is best known for their
Midnight Oil.
1987 hit
Midnight
Beds Are
Oil.
Burning? Yes, it is Midnight Oil. And that is a perfect 5 for 5 and a shutout win for Woods.
Thank you, sir.
Your head got right very quickly there while
It
you were
sure
out in the
did.
studio.
It sure did.
Nicely done, Woodsy.
Thank you, sir.
Put in the work.
We got
the work.
Jesse Agler joining us from Toronto when we come back. Don't go anywhere. More Ben and Woods coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Quickly, gang, I wanted to tell you about Loan Pronto. If you're maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt right now, you can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS, guys. The rapid equity loan program at Loan Pronto is incredible. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, renovated their kitchen, cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's quite the turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Your home's equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home. See how much cash you could get today. Loan Pronto A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've got nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service off the charts. Call them now. Get the conversation started. 619-207-4336. LoanPronto.com. 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now at LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Well done, Woods. A solidly played game of Take on Woods. We'll get back to some Padres talk, though, because standing by from north of the border in Toronto, Canada, not somewhere Padres get to go every year, Jesse Agler, who's going to be on television this week from Toronto, is going to join us right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. We just can't seem to catch a break on our roads this morning, guys. We had a stalled semi blocking the slow lane, North 805 near 43rd. Also traveling on westbound King Freeway past College. Collision over the right shoulder. Emergency crews got that right lane blocked. West 8 got a hit-and-run crash just before the 15. That's over to the right shoulder. Now on southbound 15 in the North County, got this collision right before Old Highway 395. It's over to the right shoulder. Further south of the Mercy Road off-ramp, we're getting reports of a construction sign that is partially in that right lane. San Diego, before you cruise out this Memorial Day, stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed, just 15 minutes, and your road trip ready. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Experts you can trust. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go to Toronto, Canada, in the province of Ontario, where we are joined by the voice of the Padres, Jesse Agler. Now, I assume the answer is no, Jesse, but you don't actually stay in that hotel in Rogers Center, do you? Or do you?
No, we stay around the corner. So it's like a 5-7 minute walk from the stadium. We do not stay at what I think is a Marriott that overlooks the ballpark now.
I've always wanted to stay in that hotel. Always. Bring the missus, have a great time, man. Right there at the ballpark. Like, you can't beat it. But Toronto's got to be, I'm assuming this, got to be, is it in the Jesse Agler top 5 cities to visit? I don't know why I say that. I just feel like that I'm right.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Probably in the top 5. It's big, it's metropolitan, great culture, great food. And it's, it's always funny. Like I tell people it's like, your traditional big city Northeast kind of feel, but not, because it's Canada. And so like, it's just a little bit different. feels maybe a little bit cleaner. Everybody's like a little bit nicer and more polite. It's really it's a tremendous city. It's a world-class city. We often have an off day here when we do come here because of the long flight. So, good opportunity to get out and explore. Yesterday was a holiday, Victoria Day, so kind of quiet around downtown where we stay. But still, just a really, really cool place. And they've done a major renovation to the ballpark since we were last here. They've kind of done half of it, I think, the last time we were here 2 years ago. But now they've since finished it. So kind of excited to see the inside of Rogers Center and the way that looks now, because it opened in 1989. They haven't really done much to it until the last few years. So from what I've heard, it looks almost totally different inside. So kind of excited to check that out too.
Obviously, the vast majority of games you call are outdoors, every home game, and most of the road games in the National League West, but you occasionally are inside the hangar in Arizona and other places. What's your thought on indoor baseball, Jesse? Just calling it aesthetically, your feelings on baseball in a dome?
I think, it depends on the situation, right? And it's really good to have it when you have the bad weather. Like, you feel great about that. And Arizona, I'll say this, like, now that the Diamondbacks are good, the place feels so different than it did when they were not. There's a vibe, there's an energy, it doesn't feel like this big empty warehouse because there are people in there making noise. And look, it's great. It's when we go in August or whatever to Phoenix, it's 115 degrees outside. Like, it's great that they have the roof closed and the air conditioning on, because that would be miserable. I was watching a little bit of the Tampa Bay game yesterday. They're playing outside at the Yankees spring training thing this year. And like, it was a night game and it just looked miserable there. And it's only May. And it was like, I appreciate having the roofs when we need them. Seattle is great because it starts to rain. It's just like a big umbrella they put over. It's not climate controlled, which, you still feel the cool air and all that kind of thing, but you don't get the rain delays. Milwaukee, it's obviously, kind of hit or miss with the Midwestern weather. So I'm all about it. It's look, ideally, you've got a beautiful day, outdoor baseball, all that kind of thing. But as we learn every time we go to Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and St. Louis, you don't always get beautiful, perfect weather. So it's nice to be able to have, the option of covering the thing up and getting it done. And there is rain in the forecast here. I think more tomorrow and the next day. So it's great. It's not something we have to worry about. We know we're going to get the game in. We're not going to have a rain delay or anything like that. So all about it.
Jesse, going with the more archaic plural of roof?
Roofs.
Yeah,
roofs.
As soon as I said it, I was like, what is this?
Hooves and roofs. Jesse Agler joins us this morning.
That was actually Tony gave me an incorporator word to use on the show today. He said, say roofs.
Say roofs in there. Speaking of Tony, I was dying. I don't know if you've talked to him this morning. So we get a company email yesterday from Adam Klug, our boss, who will send us stories from time to time. Hey, you guys might find this interesting. No big deal. It's about Juan Soto. It's the Bob how do you say it? Clappish? Bob Clappish piece that he wrote about Juan Soto. Tony replies all and says, this article is ridiculous. Then a couple hours go by and he writes back, maybe there's something in there. Then this morning he writes back again, no, I'm going back to my original statement. This article is ridiculous. So we called him. We got him on the air. He goes, I've had all these feelings. I go downstairs and I run into one Jesse Agler, who then you basically talked him out of his feelings. And I said, he's done that to me before many times. Jesse, I will text you something and I'm all fired up and you just like slap me down, tail between my legs. I'm like, damn it, he's right again. What did you say to Tony Gwynn Jr.? So you read that article and thought, all right, there's some validity here, maybe.
No, here's what I told him. I said, I think my exact words were, that's New York doing New York. And you're going to get articles like that. You're going to get scrutiny like that in New York and probably Boston and Philly and nowhere else. And that's the reality of media. That is the reality of those markets. That is the reality of playing there. And that's a big part of why New York is not for everybody. And I'm not suggesting New York is not for Juan Soto. He's going to be fine. But, I think reading that article, and he texted me again this morning also, so I'm going to reread it so that he and I can continue our conversation later this afternoon. But
I love it.
I think to me, like at first glance as I went through it, and I went through it quickly, but I went through it, it was just like, okay, this is a New York thing. And, that guy, he's been a New York writer for a long time. He's written things like this 1,000 times about 1,000 guys. And I think that's what happens in New York. You have a Subway Series. You lose 2 out of 3. The building is packed. The TV ratings are through the roof, and a couple of things don't look great. And so what comes out of that, an article like that? It's just not going to happen in most other places. And it's certainly not going to get the attention and the traction in other places that it gets there. And that's just how it is there. And, we could talk about whether it's fair or reasonable, but it doesn't matter. It's how it is there. It's how it happens there. It's what goes on there. And so that was my take to Tony, was like, that article is just being New York. And again, whether it's accurate or fair is like almost completely beside the point, because once something like that gets out into the ether there, it becomes a thing.
Yep.
And as you guys know, once something becomes a thing, it can stay a thing for quite a long time. And so it'll be a little bit fascinating to track. And I don't know that Juan helped himself necessarily by saying, well, of course I'm hustling. I don't know that would be my approach. But like this, it's now a thing. And again, in New York, when things become a thing, they're a thing. Capital T.
All right, let me ask you then, Jesse, is it fair if, let's say, a local writer for the UT or the Athletic or a couple of radio hosts decided to ask the question and write a piece, what's wrong with the Padres offense after the weekend that we just saw against the Seattle Mariners, in which they only scored 1 run per game? Obviously, hitting with runners in scoring position was the big issue. Is there an overriding concern? I saw the stat. If you take out the 121 run game over this last month, Padres are averaging less than 4 runs per game. Is there a problem offensively with the team right now?
No, I mean, my answer to that's going to be my answer to every time we all have a conversation this time of year, no matter the season, no matter good or bad. It's too early to make any broad stroke pronouncements. It's just, you know when Manny really got going last year? Like June 19th. Like he got going like June 19th. If you go back and look at Manny last year, June 19th. When did this team get going last year? After the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So
July 20th.
Yeah. Like it's not, I'm not going to sit here on May 20th. And again, that's why, I think the Soto thing has taken on a life of its own. Remember also, he just signed a mega contract.
Massive.
And, the things with the Yankees weren't great at the end. And, the relationships were maybe a little bit frayed. And again, it's New York and it's those two teams and it's going to be big. It's going to be dramatic. They're going to put it under the microscope and they're going to do that stuff. Is it reasonable? Of course not. But like I said, it's just whether it's reasonable or not is not the issue, because once something gets into that media ecosystem, it's going to go crazy. But if you step back and try and look at things reasonably, no, like there's nothing on May 20th that's going to make me sit here and be like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. This is the worst thing ever. Jackson Merrill was hitting like 480 a couple of days ago, right? And now he's had a little bit mini slump. Well, of course he's had a little bit of a mini slump because nobody hits 480. It's not a thing that happens. It's not a thing you can do at this level in this sport. So, stuff stabilizes. It kind of goes up and down. Is RISP something to keep an eye on as the season goes on? Sure. They were tremendous at it last year. They were atrocious at it the year before that. So it's kind of like, all right, like let's keep an eye on that. Let's be aware of that. Certainly the weekend against Seattle, it's worth talking about. It's worth mentioning, 0 for 21, that stands out. That's a very fair thing to talk about. But to say, oh, there's a larger issue with it, I think gets a little bit unreasonable at this point.
I think I agree with that. Talking to Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning. And, Shildt said, look, we just got to get back to playing our game. And I, again, said it like a mantra yesterday. Everybody wanted this team to start hot, and they have. They absolutely have. They are 9 games above 500. Nothing needs to be over magnified right now. They're aware that they sucked this weekend. Like Tony said on our show about an hour ago, nobody wants to suck, right? Like Manny doesn't want to suck. Jackson doesn't want to suck. Everybody wants to perform. I keep going back to what Shildt said when he started here about, hey man, we had 21 opportunities to drive in runs. We didn't. Keep getting those opportunities. It will all even out in the long run, one way or the other. But, I think it is fair too, Jesse, to ask, like, in your opinion, have you seen them getting away from what made them a little bit more successful when they came out of the chute? Like maybe running a little bit more or taking that extra bag. Have you seen anything that leads you to believe they're just not pressing it maybe like they were?
Yeah, I think, the running game has definitely slowed down. But I think so much of that is situational. And I think you'd really have to do a deep dive to go into the moments of all right, would it have made sense? because I guess what I'm saying is I can't think of too many opportunities in the last few weeks where I was like, oh, I can't believe they weren't running there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so it's really very hyper situational. At the beginning of the year, there were a bunch of those opportunities, and they did. Now, can that be something that's used to try and kickstart it? Sure, absolutely.
Sure.
But it has to be kind of the right moment and everything like that. And the other thing when it comes to running, particularly the stolen bases, and this is something that Tony talks about with great regularity on our broadcast, is the toll that it takes on your body. And it's something you have to be really, really aware of over the long season. And so beginning of the year, everybody's fresh.
Yeah.
Everybody's feeling good.
Fired up.
And it's like, yeah, let's run and then go dive into second base. That adds up really quickly. And Tony's, talking about this from his own experience as a guy that could definitely steal bases at the major league level. And, it's great that, Manny stole 8 bags or whatever it was in the first 2 weeks of the season, but you start to feel that in a hurry. And so, all of a sudden you look up and it's like April 10th and you're like April 15th and you're like, man, my legs are a little bit more sore than I thought they would be. That's a pretty easy way to be like, all right, I gotta take a little bit of a step back here and take care of this body because we got a long summer ahead.
And I will say Xander had a couple of stolen bases that would have been big if someone had come in with a hit.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen.
Sure.
So they're still, I think, looking for their opportunities. I hope we're not going to disappoint people too much, but made the decision because TV is a different animal.
It's a different beast.
When Jesse's on TV, we're not going to do the incorporator with him. They got graphics and different things that they got to manage on television, and I don't do it when I'm on television. You'd love to make me when I'm anchoring the news, but
more than anything.
it just doesn't work really that well with television. So we're going to take a quick hiatus from the incorporator. It will be back when Jesse's back on radio, but we look forward to seeing you with a Mudley on television for the next few games.
We'll have a good time. Little passport baseball for everybody from Rogers Center. Dylan Cease on the mound today, coming off a season high 10 strikeouts last time. Looking forward to it.
Against TBD. Who's
I think it's Bassett, but
is it Bassett? I just looked. It said TBD.
Yeah, MLB says TBD. ESPN says Bassett.
All right.
Zach says you're incorporated.
I'm not 100% on that.
Your incorporated word is Padres.
Well, that should be easy.
Should be
Okay.
easy one.
Okay.
Easy wins are always good to take. Jesse, have a good trip. We'll see you when you get back next week.
Thank you, guys.
There he is, Jesse Agler, television and radio voice of the San Diego Padres. And I want to bring up a little bit more about what Jesse said. First of all, I love when Jesse echoed a point that I made yesterday, which I thought was 100% correct. But it is a long season.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
My God.
Get to that coming up next here on 97.
Aren't I smart?
Yeah.
Coming up next.
You're smart when Jesse agrees with you. All right, yes, maybe I like having Jesse agree with me a little bit too much, but I did make the same point yesterday. Jackson's not going to hit 480. No one ever does, so you have to go through a slump at some point, and Jesse pointed that out as well. But I thought the very interesting question actually you asked, Woods, and Jesse gave a good answer about whether or not the team is getting away from what has been working for them, has been so successful. Victor Rodriguez, Petco Park ball, gap-to-gap line drives, going the other way, taking your singles, taking the ball where it's pitched. Don't worry so much about slug. I think it's important to remember, no one gets away from something when it's working. As long as it's still working and you're winning games and you're getting a lot of hits, they're going to keep doing it. But eventually, even the things you're doing well are not going to work for a little bit of time. You can still have that approach at the plate. Hey, we're thinking line drives, we're going the other way. I'm in a slump now. What happened? So the natural tendency is I should do something different. All right, this isn't working. Maybe if I start swinging for a little more power, then I'll get going again. So you inherently then get away from what you were doing.
Nobody means to. Nobody ever means to.
But it's usually went into a slump, even though you were still doing what you were trying to do and was being successful earlier. It didn't work for 4 or 5 days. So you just naturally then want to try something else, because when you start pounding your head against the wall and it's not working, as a baseball player, really as anything in life, your instinct is, I need to change something.
Sure.
And one of the hardest things to do is to stick with something that's not working.
Correct. You're 1 for 19, and you're like, why? I'm really going to stick to my plan here?
With the faith that if I just keep doing this, though, I'll get back to being successful like I was. It's so hard to do that.
It's an impossible sport. I mean, it's impossible. It's just.
But as he said, inevitably, Jacksonville was going to go through a little skid here.
Sure.
He went through a couple of short ones last year.
This is a short one. This is 1 for 19.
That's
so
so hard not to
skid.
Want to go back to the lab and rethink everything.
Yep.
All right, what am I doing wrong? Let's look at the video. Let's do this. Let's do that. Or you can just say to yourself, I'm a baseball player. Of course, this is going to happen. I'm not changing a single thing. I'm going to go same routine, same thought process, and I'm just going to trust that I'm going to start getting hits. But every day you don't, that extra doubt creeps in your mind.
Yep.
Like, maybe I am doing something wrong.
Well,
maybe I do need to change some things.
It's like Blue Meanie says, teams adjust to what you're doing, right? Oh, Manny's been really hot on this pitch. Well, he's not going to see that pitch in this at-bat. The piece that Letters to AJ dropped yesterday really blew my mind. And yeah, I love all the analytical breakdowns. And what really, really stuck with me, and again, if you're not following at Letters to AJ, Letters to AJ, the number 2 on Twitter, you should be. He's got a Substack. He writes these really detailed articles. What blew my mind was this, and not blew my mind, but the one that stuck with me is, man, teams are looking at the San Diego Padres and saying, we're going to pitch to Jason Hayward. We're going to pitch to Brandon Lockridge. We're going to pitch to Tyler Wade. We're going to pitch to the guy, Martin Maldonado. Free and easy. We don't care. We're going to groove a heater. Let these guys do their worst. And we're going to actively pitch around the guys that can beat us. Those guys then aren't getting pitches to hit. It's up to them to not expand the zone, to take the walk, whatever it may be. If there is a mistake, to punish it. Makes for a tough AB. Somebody just said, look, and he also said they're 6 homers off the pace of where they were last year. Manny Machado having 3 homers does not help that pace. I mean, I'm looking around the league last night, Ben, and I'm watching all these other games. I'm like, he's got what? 14 home runs? He's got 12. He's got 9. It's just an anomaly. He's having a good start to the year. He's just not hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Now, he didn't have anybody behind him for a while when Jackson was out. Now Jackson's back. Jackson hits a skid. It's a chain reaction, man. Next thing you know, Crony, you're not getting anything to hit because you got Jason Hayward coming up and you got Martin Maldonado. It leads to ineptitude with your offense once that happens. If you got, honestly, one more bat would help this team tremendously. A person that could, again, play left field. It lengthens the lineup a little bit. I think it would help immensely. Now, Manny had opportunities galore this series to get the job done. He didn't. Jackson had opportunities galore to get the job done. He didn't.
Fernando had
opportunities. He didn't.
It's not fair to entirely put it on Elias Diaz in the bottom of the order. Yes, they came up. They guys were pitched around, and it was an escape hatch a couple of times
Of
for
course.
opposing pitchers, but there were also situations where they got on at the bottom of the order.
Yes,
and Fernando grounded into a double
grounded out.
play.
Exactly.
So, it's beyond just the old got to fix the bottom of the lineup and everything is good.
But it is a big part of it, again, because if the 6 isn't getting anything to hit at all because the 7, 8, 9 is horrible, and then the one time Fernando comes up with runners on, he's like, oh my God, I've got to hit with runners on. I haven't done this in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a cyclical thing. The lineup is very fluid, and when it's popping, man, there's no better product to watch in baseball, none, than the San Diego Padres when it's flowing. And when it's not flowing, it is excruciating. It's excruciating.
As Jesse mentioned, Dylan Cease will be on the mound today for the opener to the 3-game series against the Blue Jays. Yeah, a little discrepancy between the websites, TBDs, but Chris Bassett was listed as the starting pitcher for the Blue Jays, a guy that Padres have faced quite a bit. He was in the National League, was with the Mets.
Have we handled him
for a while? I think we've done all right. I think we got him in the playoffs in that wild card series, if I remember correctly. New year, though. You never know. And then Randy Vasquez tomorrow, and I saw also either TBD or Kevin Gausman, former San Francisco Giant. Remember him from the National League. And then on Thursday, Stephen
Is he still filthy?
I don't think so.
Gossman?
Not like he used to be.
Bassett against the Padres is 1-3 with a 4.44, 32 Ks in 5 appearances. Listen, it means nothing. You throw these numbers out, certainly, because when Emerson Hancock sucks,
careful,
shuts you down.
Be careful.
Especially with a name like that.
I don't know where you're going here, but just be careful.
Ready to go home? When Emerson Hancock shuts you down, sky's the limit. Never know.
Offensively, the Blue Jays.
Emerson did what?
What did Hancock do?
It's Herbie Hancock.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue, Tyler, as Tyler says. Yes, it does.
George Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, they got dangerous guys in the order. None of them are having world-beating good seasons so far. They're all
got guys who can beat you, though.
But they can beat you.
Yeah.
They absolutely can beat you.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful when you're going against the Toronto Blue Jays, to be sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just at this point, listen, you just want to see them get back. And honestly, you got to rip the Band-Aid off and get that first hit with runners in scoring position. You don't want to, that's not a streak you want to continue.
Do you think
the over 21?
Do you think Mike Shildt will alter his lineup in any meaningful way for the game today?
I never do. I never, ever, as much as I think I'd love to see it.
He has in the
just
past,
to shut me up. I think he's never really. I mean, he's put Xander, but it was mostly due to injury. Like, okay, these two guys are out, so you're going to move up in the order. That's one thing. He's got the big 5. The big 5 are here. What does he do with the big 5 to get the most out of them? I don't know. My gut feeling is that it's going to be Tatis, Arise, Machado, Merrill, Xander. That's my gut feeling, because that's really what he rolls out there on a daily basis.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he's wrong by any stretch, just saying if there was a time to, and again, they know the reams of information that they have. If you called Mike Shildt right now and say, hey, what is Arise hit off Bassett? He'd be like 349. He'd know exactly off the top of his head. Oh, man, he doesn't see him at all. I'm going to move him to the 4. Maybe he leads off the inning. Like, they have reams of info. There's a reason behind why they do it. I don't get the sense, Ben, that Mike Shildt is lazy and just likes making the same lineup every day.
The captain says Shildt is stubborn. He won't change the top of the lineup. There is some stubbornness undoubtedly to Mike Shildt, but I don't think he's closed-minded. Can you be stubborn but open-minded at the same time? Because I do feel like Mike Shildt is always willing to discuss ways to make his team better.
Not with us, but yeah.
No, not with us. Not
with others.
Not with us.
With AJ.
But I think with AJ, and I don't think that he is like completely. God, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I think it's just a manager thing.
I
think
it's a manager thing.
It's not unique
yeah.
to Mike Shildt. I mean, we saw it with Bob Melvin. He sat Matt Carpenter on the bench for like six straight weeks.
Yeah. Didn't do anything.
That was being stubborn. You're going to put him on this roster?
And again,
I'm going to put him on the bench.
If he was stubborn, Arise would have been hitting leadoff to start the year like he was at the end of last year.
True.
Hey, it worked for us last year.
That's
We played really well. Arise was leading off. Why would I change it for this season? But he did. And he put Tatis in the leadoff spot instead because he thought there might be a better way we can do this. So
and what if that's the way home right there? What if it was Arise, Tatis, Merrill, Machado, Xander? Fine. I think I think every manager has to be stubborn. I do. And this is why, please don't freak out when I say this, Dodger fans. You say it too. I got this theory on Twitter by watching you guys overreact to every loss that you've ever had. It's why Dave Roberts isn't in charge. The way that they run things is how you know exactly that he's not in charge. He's as old school as it gets. Old school manager. Raised in the old school fashion, Ben. Played at old school baseball. On no planet does he say, I'm taking Andy Pages out of center field to put Hai-Sung Kim in so that I can get Edman in. He's going to say, a stubborn manager that gets to actually make the decisions, no, I'm not putting him out there. He's a Gold Glove second baseman and shortstop from Korea. He's playing second base. Tommy Edman, who we acquired to play center field, is going to play center field. And if he can't go, then Pages is going to play center field. It's how you know he's not making any decisions for that team. None. Andrew Friedman faxes him a lineup. No, I don't fax anymore. He texts him a lineup. This is what I want to see. I promise you. I promise you. And I see Dodger fans saying it all the time. It bears so much weight. There's so much merit to it. When you see how cutesy they get, you know damn well he's making none of those decisions. And I think Shildt probably gets the chance to make the lineup here.
Now, I don't think that AJ Preller is completely silent about this either.
I don't think I think he's probably a lot more lax than he used to be.
But I do think he gives Mike Shildt a lot more latitude than he did with Andy Green and
100%. 100. I think honestly, my gut tells me he tried this with Bob Melvin, and Bob Melvin told him to kick rocks, and he's like, all right, Shildt, we're going to be more, because they always say how holistic they are about it. But I promise you, if Shildt put his foot down and wanted to do something, he's going to get his way. I promise you. We know that.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. And AJ may not love it, but he also knows the value of getting everybody on the same page now. And having gone through a bad experience with Bob Melvin and having gone through it the other way with some younger, inexperienced managers, AJ will eventually, if it's not working, I mean, he's not going to just let it go forever.
Correct.
But I think he's giving Mike Shildt a bit more latitude than maybe some other managers like Dave Roberts are getting from their front offices.
Yep. I agree. So you asked me the long, the long answer to that is no, I don't think he's going to mix up the lineup. I think there's something to it. There's a reason that they do it. It's not throwing darts at a board. There's a reason why they move the lineup around like they do. What will be interesting tonight, I think, for all Padre fans is who's playing left field. Is it going to be, all right, we've had Jason's had a little bit of time off. We're going to see if he can get going north of the border. Wouldn't surprise me to see him get a shot against Chris Bassett tonight, not even a little bit. He's on the roster. Shildt likes him, believes in him, has trust in him. First game of the series. Want to make sure your best defense is out there. You want to try to win this game. Not going to surprise me if Jason Hayward's in the lineup. What will surprise me is if he's not. That's when I'll go, oh boy.
Well, I think you're right, because if he's not in the lineup again, after not having been in the lineup all but one of the last, 4 games, at what point are you just saying he's not really a useful part of our team anymore? Right. If Mike Shildt doesn't feel like he can use him in left field, then there really isn't a lot of use. He's there. He's got leadership skills, but you can have leadership skills. You also have to be able to produce. You only get 26 players on your roster. Right. You can't not use players on your roster.
You can. Bob Melvin did it. Bob Melvin did it to Matt Carpenter. He did it to Jorge Alfaro in the playoffs. I mean, it can be done.
It just doesn't usually result in good things, though, for the team that is doing that.
It absolutely can be done.
It can.
Jose Iglesias did not take an AB for like a week.
Effectively, can it be done? I don't know.
Well, it goes against the point of having a 26-man roster if you have 13 position players. Is that right?
And what
and
happened
you use
with that
10 of them?
What happened with that 2023 team? We said all the stars felt like they could
had to
never
play
take
every
it out.
day.
They had to play every day. They got overused. Didn't work out well for that team. You really do have to be able to use all your players.
Yep.
Now they're using their players. Will they continue to use Jason Hayward? Because once they stop using him, then they have to find someone else that they can use, in my opinion.
And Michael says in the check, and we talk about how there are 3 or 4 spots open on the Padres 40-man that Preller isn't filling, which is also thus limiting options for this team. So we mentioned this earlier in the program. He's got 2 guys coming off of the IL.
Right. Oscar Gonzalez being released, added 1 more, which I believe is that 3 open spots.
3 open spots with Waldron taking 1 soon and Hoeing taking
both
1
those
soon.
guys, once they started their rehab assignments, they can stay on the 60-man, but not indefinitely, and will have to be reactivated at some point. I don't know what the specific day is for both of those guys, but they will need 2 spots waiting for them fairly soon. And that leaves 1. And yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. Certainly what AJ Preller is going to do with it. And I talked earlier, I said, I'm sure his eye is wandering right now, looking for someone that he thinks might be able to help. And I'd be very surprised if that person wasn't a left fielder that he's looking around for. But honestly, there isn't any perfect solution.
You're
right
telling
now
me
that's
the
out there.
left fielder harvest hasn't yielded much crop this year? Again, if I ever hear anyone on the planet tell me again how easy it is to find a corner outfielder, I'm kicking you square in the nuts, because where? Just get a first baseman and a corner outfielder. It's so easy to find. Show me.
The tree that grows left fielders is not bearing fruit.
Correct.
Yet.
Correct. The well is run dry, man. Curtis says he wants Taylor Ward. Of course you do. Of course you want Taylor Ward. I want Taylor Ward. They're going to ask for the moon, and they're not trading him right now. They're
for
4
anything
games.
right now.
Yeah, they're not looking to move him.
Yeah, we're just 4
We're in
in
it.
a row. We're not out of it. It's too early in the season. We have fans too.
Now listen, if you're an Angels fan, I can see why you're like, oh God, they just swept the Dodgers. Is this the worst thing for our future ever to happen? Like, here we go. Unless you really believe that you have the team to compete in the AL West, which you kind of do right now, being that it's May 20th or whatever. They're not looking to move Taylor Ward right now. I promise you.
I would just know, as an Angels fan, I would just
Here
be
we
like,
go. It happened with Shohei, remember?
As soon as the trade deadline passes, 10-game losing streak incoming.
Bro, I'll never forget us playing the clip of Perry Manazian when he was talking about, no, we still think we're in it, and we're going to add on the fringes here and try to make a run in Shohei's last year, and it was horrible. It was horrible. You had the greatest trade chip of all time, and you got literally the greatest trade piece in the history of trade pieces, and you didn't do anything, and he's gone. And you got nothing to show for it. We've done it. It's happened to the Padres before, too. Nothing of that magnitude.
No.
You could have pillaged a franchise for Shohei Ohtani. Pillaged.
This hour on Ben and Woods is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Top 10 must-haves for grilling season. 1, meat. 2, meat. 3, lots of meat. Well, you get the picture. Grill the best-tasting meats on the planet from uswellnessmeats.com. New customers receive 20% off and deliver right to your door.
Lots of meat.
Lots of meat. All right, we will come back. Still got our Reindl Report ahead, and a little bit of controversy with one of Woods' favorite college football programs. We'll get to that next after traffic.
Whoa.
It's not your team's fault. I'll
Thank you. I was going to say, the controversy is one-sided here.
It's not your team's fault.
Thank you.
Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
All right, Woods and I first, though, want to tell you about 7 Mile Casino. It's our place to play cards. And when I say cards, I mean cards. No slot machines. This is simply California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em poker, Pai Gow, and Baccarat. It's a smaller facility, but it's not small. It's nice. I mean, there's definitely plenty of tables, plenty of seats, and a great atmosphere waiting for you at 7 Mile Casino in Chula Vista.
They the first time we walked in, we went, oh my gosh, I'm blown away. And we had a great sat down at the bar, had a great meal. They got a great patio area outside too, overlooking the bay. But honestly, I went there to play California style blackjack. So much fun. I was talking to a buddy that's going to Vegas, and he's going to be playing blackjack literally for the first time. And I said, bro, just go right down the street, 7 Mile Casino. He's like, I said, don't sit in the very last seat, as your first timer. I said, but ask them. They'll walk you through it. They'll tell you what you need to do. And he's like, really? I go, yeah, they'll tell you exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, don't be intimidated. They say California style blackjack. It's just
Same
blackjack with avocado on it.
That's right.
It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's slathered in avocado.
Same thing.
Like it's in flip flops.
Yeah. It's very comfortable. You can check out the TVs. It's windows all over the place. It really is an experience unlike you've probably ever had at a card room before. Woods and I have made it our place. Make it yours as well. Hop on the 5. Head down Bay Boulevard, west side of the freeway in Chula Vista. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
I just learned something that neither of us knew. Paulie was mentioning that on MLB Network they had Joe Theismann on, and didn't realize that Joe Theismann was drafted by the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, that alone right there is MLB Network had Joe Theismann on, and I go, what the hell is he doing on there? Turns out he was drafted in the 70s by the Minnesota Twins.
Fritz, did you, as a Notre Dame fan, know that Joe Theismann was a baseball player?
I had no
as well?
idea. Zero. It doesn't surprise me, but I had no idea. I don't know if he played ball for the Irish or it was just one of those things. Like, man, he raked in high school. See if we can get him to bite.
Athletes are athletes.
Yeah.
So, Dave Winfield obviously could have played whatever sport he
basketball,
wanted.
football, baseball, whatever he wanted.
Whatever he wanted. But
imagine Aaron Judge in the NFL as a tight end. Just trucking. Fernando Tatis Jr. as a wide receiver. We've done this bit before.
But it's funny because Notre Dame was exactly where I wanted to go. A little story that came out yesterday that USC and Notre Dame are possibly looking at the end of their long rivalry.
I am sick.
So this year is the final year of their current contractual agreement to play football games. That
every year they have played, Ben,
since
1926. Other than World War II and COVID.
This is the last year?
This is the last year.
2025 is the last year. Now they're working on, they've been discussing an extension.
So they're going to get to 99 years and say,
so USC has offered
come on
a 2026 game at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Notre Dame says, let's just keep a long-term extension where we alternate and 1 year in South Bend, 1 year in Los Angeles, and keep going indefinitely. And USC has, for some reason, balked at the idea of a long-term extension.
It's like the one thing I have not waded into the fray on Twitter, because this is one that I'm like, it would be so, I would be so devastated not to get that free win every year.
So there's not been a lot of actual reporting on the why, but I can speculate as to the why. For Notre Dame, absolutely. USC is it's a marquee opponent for an independent school that's trying to fill out 12 games every single year. That's one of the spots that they've been able to count on. They have a scheduling agreement with the ACC. They're not in the ACC, but they have a few of those taken care of. They got Navy every year, but they do need to find games. They don't want to have to look for more games because scheduling is becoming harder and harder for college football teams as these mega conferences have expanded. And you're going to play now up to 9 really tough conference games every year. If you're in the Big Ten now.
Define really tough.
Yeah, the Big Ten, you got Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, Illinois was good. Indiana was good last year. I mean, there's, or if you're in the SEC, then, I mean, you're going to play 9 really tough games. Those schools don't really want or need to schedule up in their non-conference games. And I would think that USC is kind of looking like Notre Dame is all of a sudden, we're going to have plenty of strength of schedule in conference. Notre Dame's just a dangerous game for us now, because obviously that's going to be a good team, a rivalry game that they're up for, no matter whether they're having a down year, an up year, whatever. That's just a tough game. It's the reason why San Diego State doesn't really want to play like USD anymore. USD is not good metrically, but
UCSD.
But now they're good enough. They can beat you on the right day because it's a rivalry game. And I think USC is probably going, is the juice worth the squeeze on this game anymore for us? And that has led to a bit of an impasse.
Yeah, and I don't know what the answer is going to be. All I know is that game is awesome. And it has been awesome for my entire life. And I really, really hope it continues. And if not, we will all point at Lincoln Riley and laugh, as we pretty much have done since he got
This
there.
is one where if college football actually had like a commissioner, someone who was looking out for the best interest of the sport, they would say, obviously, keep playing. This is history. This is why people like college football. They go tailgating for the USC Notre Dame game every other year. And, they look forward to it. Why would we take something away that our fans look forward to every single year? That's dumb business. But the business of sports now in college football is, how do I game the metrics to try to get into the college football playoff? And so USC is kind of at this like, the metrics say we shouldn't play Notre Dame.
But the metrics would say that Notre Dame playing a 6-5 USC team doesn't really do much for them either.
Doesn't hurt them, though.
Doesn't help them.
Because they've been winning that game fairly
I mean,
consistently
again,
too,
USC is, I think people,
but they need games.
People always say
Notre
this.
Dame needs games.
People
USC
always say
needs
this.
less.
People always say this about Notre Dame. They have an inflated sense of ego and self and all that. But honestly, like, they're kind of in it and have been since the advent of the playoffs. USC is not at all. They got their chip. It was one of the best teams I've ever seen in my whole life. But it's been downhill ever since for those guys. Yeah, Caleb Williams won a Heisman. I think they lost to Tulane in the Wiener Bowl that year or something. I can't remember, the Beef O'Brady Bowl or something. So, again, this is about tradition. This is about a series that's been played since 1926.
Which is what separates college football from pro football.
Correct.
And in this now era where less is separating them, which one gets paid? Both of them.
Both of them
get paid.
a ton.
Which one's a giant business?
Both of them
are just giant businesses.
Yep.
With less separating yourself from the NFL, you got to lean into things that do separate you, and that is the tradition, the rivalries. You can't get away from those things. So ultimately, I agree with you.
I'm sick with it.
Yeah, USC needs to.
This would be
pony up and just continue that series.
And if it's Lincoln Riley that ends up pulling the plug on this, that's a stain on that guy's legacy. I don't know if you can stain it more than it is already. The thief of $11 million a year. But that's a stain on that guy's coaching.
I really thought he was going to be a difference maker for USC when he came over.
I knew I had watched him a lot in Oklahoma. Not a super big game guy. Not that Marcus Freeman was before last year, but for the money they spent, for what he did to the program at Oklahoma, I wasn't too worried. But man, the fact that they just stole our recruiter, that guy, that scared me to death.
All right, we're going to take a time out. We'll come back. Paul, you got
You're
some
making
headlines?
a weird look. Is Reggie Bush on the line or
With the
something?
Reindl
What's going
Report.
on?
We'll tell the story after the break, depending on what happens. Don't go anywhere. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But first, you know what else is tradition in our home? It's Eco Water. We love Eco Water. We've got the Eco Water system in our home. I would never, ever get rid of the Eco Water in our home. I love it. So happy with it. No more hard water in our house. It's not wrecking our plumbing, appliances, water heater. If you ignore that, by the way, you could have to repipe your entire home. Could cost you about $24,000. That's why we trust Eco Water SoCal. Clean water also deserves clean air. Eco Water SoCal has state-of-the-art air purification that removes 99.99% of pollutants. Now we've got pure water, fresh air, and a happy family. All thanks to Eco Water SoCal. You can absolutely taste the difference too. Try the Soft Life like Lincoln Riley and alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Call 760-350-3338 or go to ecowatersocal.com. Let them know Woodsy sent you. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. Keeping it soft since 1925.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
It's bad luck for us to be playing Rush.
Because they're Canadian.
Yes. And Geddy Lee is like the Blue Jay super fan, too. Oh, no. Paulie, scratch it. Turn it down.
All right, just turn it. I'll just mention that this hour of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Frozen Rope San Diego. Canada is frozen often, too. Oh, that's bad. Hey, parents, here's a message from Coach Kurt at Frozen
They
Ropes.
also have ropes there.
Is your child
This is
6 to
not
12
good.
years old? Then baseball.
They have
Summer
children
League.
there, 6 to 12 years old.
God.
Oh, no.
This is the perfect fit for your player. Starting June 16th through August 17th, Summer League includes 8 practices and 8 games.
They have summers
They
in
don't have
Toronto,
summer,
too.
though. We're good. There's no summer there.
They
so
also
we're
have
fine.
June through August there. Go to SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com.
What is the anti-rush? I need money. He said, I don't know. I love Rush.
They're awesome.
They're awesome.
That would be the prevent.
Yeah. No, the
Rush, the slow.
The slow?
The slow. I
Something
guess so.
slow. All right. Take it away, Paulie.
All right, Paul's
After
got the Reindl
traffic.
Report after traffic. Yeah, very good. Woods.
From the
Thank
855
you.
Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Guys, it's been a busy morning. We're not quite over it yet. Got this collision on westbound King Freeway past College. Looks like that may be in the clearing stage. Also, watch out for a stalled vehicle northbound 5 near Washington Street. It's in the center divide. Westbound 52 has been behaving itself for the most part of the morning, but now got a crash right before Santo Road. Couple cars involved. They're over to the right shoulder. San Diego, before you cruise out this Memorial Day, stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed, just 15 minutes, and your road trip ready. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Experts you can trust. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for coupons. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right. 2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning,
Let's start off quick note here. It's getting to be that time. You're going to start seeing more and more stories related to the Olympics coming up, and the NFL is going to be involved potentially here with the 2028 Olympics. So there is a league meeting later today, or maybe even right now, happening in Minneapolis for the NFL, and a vote will be taking place on whether or not the league will allow NFL players to participate in flag football at the 2028 LA Summer Games. They need 24 out of 32 team owners voting yes to approve it. And then the league will negotiate with the Players Association and the Olympics Committee and all of the other groups that are all involved with this. But it is expected to pass, meaning you will see current NFL players in June, July. So in between training camps and all of that.
How do you get me to watch flag football in the Olympics? You put NFL players in.
You put Derrick Henry out there.
I'm all the way in.
Tyreek Hill.
Now, for those of you saying, "Oh no," but what if they get injured? They play football. Like, this is safer for them than what they currently do for a living. It's not the same. If they were going to play in full pads and stuff, that's one I'd be a little nervous. Yeah, might they tweak a hammy? Yes, they might.
What about the baseball players in a celebrity softball game?
You're right.
A beer league softball.
Yeah, that's right.
What about the argument that all the flag football players who've been dreaming of this are all of a sudden going to have their places taken by NFL players, and now they will no longer get to go to the Olympics?
We've talked about that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Be faster, better, stronger.
Play better again.
You never really were the best flag football players in the world.
It'd be correct. You were never the best flag football players in the world because the best ones play in the NFL.
They just weren't playing flag football.
I don't know if it's a great comp, but they have 3-on-3 basketball leagues.
Yeah.
Like specifically 3-on-3. It's a different style, but it's still basketball. But if you were gearing up for a team for 3-on-3, and all of a sudden all of the NBA players were available, but you got this one guy that's really good, knows the triangle offense and everything. Sorry, man. LeBron James is ready to go.
He's ready. I can't. What do you
Jalen
think?
Brunson wants to play 3-on-3 basketball in the Olympics.
Yep.
Sorry, bud. So yeah, there's a lot that still needs to happen with the NFL and NFLPA and the Olympics, but it is looking like that could very well be happening.
The NFL, if they will have a chance to make money off of this, so they will be all in.
I don't know if the NFL's making a ton of money off of it.
It's the
Olympics that makes the money off the Olympics.
But you broker a deal though. Like, you don't. Those are your top tier players of the number one league in the world. Yeah,
the players will probably get some.
They'll get something, but
endorsements.
Not what they make playing pro football.
No.
Yeah.
This is all of a chance to actually win a gold medal, which you've never been able to do in football before, in any kind.
Satan Blover says, "Thank you for laying the groundwork for better athletes. Is a tale as old as time in sports." It's exactly right.
Yep. Story 1B, also football related. It's the story that will never go away. But
it's Bill Belichick.
There are reports that Bill Belichick is engaged to his girlfriend Jordan Hudson.
Okay,
who
good
we've
for
talked
them.
about a lot. Chad Graff, who writes for The Athletic, he covers the Patriots. He has said, Jordan Hudson and has told at least one person that she and Bill Belichick are engaged to be married.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Is there do you think there's any truth to the conspiracy theory that much of what the controversy of Bill Belichick and his girlfriend has been actually magnified by Bill to help promote his book, which is debuted at number 5, like on the Amazon best-selling charts?
No,
I don't think so.
I mean, he's definitely promoting it. He's doing all kinds of he's
but when he
podcasts
won't
are
talk
interviewing
about
him.
the one thing people want him to talk about, that doesn't make me want to go buy his book.
Fair. I mean,
people are buying his book.
Promoting this for a book or living through all this to sell books.
I mean, I
weird.
wouldn't do it, but I don't know. Just, people have.
I don't believe it.
People have
But if they're
created
engaged-
controversies to try to sell books before.
If they're engaged, congratulations to them. Hope the happy couple has a long and fruitful marriage.
It can't be that long.
Can't be that long.
I mean,
Bill is in his 70s.
He is. Are you ageist?
No.
What if he's got 30 years left?
Just lifespan issues.
What if he's how old is he? 72?
Yeah.
Guy's got 30 years in him. 30, you can have a 30-year marriage.
No.
All right.
Not according to the actuarial tables.
Okay.
He won't, but
the stress that his heart has endured has got to be a lot over the years.
In Major League Baseball last night, there was a no-hitter in progress that was negated after a play happened and the ruling from error to hit was changed in between innings.
Right.
This was the Royals-Giants game, I believe.
It was.
Playing. Yeah, Royals and Giants. And it was a weird play, ground ball to second base, a play that should be made, 99 out of 100. And the second baseman, as soon as he hit the grass, he slips.
Yeah.
Like slipped on a banana peel, completely legs go under him, and the ball scoots right on by. And it was originally called an error, keeping the no-hitter intact.
Correct.
And then in between innings, they said, no, that's a hit. Now, Adam sent that over yesterday. I watched it and I go, yeah, that's a really crappy way to lose a no-hitter, but that's a hit by letter of the law. The glove doesn't touch the ball.
He overruns it. He overruns the ball. Yes, he did, but he overran that ball. I thought it was an E. I really did.
I think
he got glove on
this. Is that play normally made by a normal second baseman?
Yes. He
almost all of the time.
He overruns it.
Yes, then it's an error. Now, did he slip? Was it his fault that he committed an error? No, but part of fielding is keeping your feet. And
it's so ugly.
You know, if you gave a hit every time someone slipped, I mean, that's not really a hit either.
That's an A, man.
The hitter doesn't deserve a hit there. He did not do anything to deserve to hit.
This is not
the pitcher doesn't deserve to have given up a hit there. I say error.
I say error too. This is not. We're not talking the ninth inning. This is the sixth inning. You know what I mean? Like that changes a little bit.
I don't think Fernando should have gotten an error. That they changed it to an error on the ball that he dropped in the outfield.
Yeah,
because I don't know that every right fielder even gets to that ball. He was sprinting all out, and when he got there, the ball bounced out of his glove. But that's not a simple routine play that everybody makes.
I do not envy the scorers.
His speed got him there, but he didn't have time to
in foul territory.
He wasn't quite. No, it was fair ball. It was ended up being a double.
Yeah.
You know, it ended up taking an earned run off Michael King's ledger in that game. But I think that's a hit actually, because that was a really long way to go. And he didn't catch it. Now, was it in his glove for a second?
Yeah.
And he could have gotten it. But I don't think that's an easy play by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I don't think so.
See, when I saw the play last night, I likened it to a routine play that usually gets made. Think of like a fly ball in the gap, guys camped out under it, and then he loses it in the lights or in the sun, and it bounces right in between the center fielder and the right fielder. That's a hit.
I think if that's not an error. If you lose it in the sky or the lights, that can happen to anyone. That's not an error. You didn't do anything wrong.
A 12 hopper though,
but
that he overran.
He did something wrong.
Yeah,
but if he doesn't slip, he still makes that play.
But that caused him to slip was the overrunning. He made a mistake.
Yeah, I think it made a mistake
that led to the ball getting past him.
But again, sixth inning, guys, like this was not an equal. This wasn't Andre Scalaraga twirling a perfect game and having a blown call at first base. This was like, hey man, the sixth. If you'd made it, he ended up winning the game, pitched really well, pitched 7, and got the dub.
Yeah. And then finally, a little music news, and maybe a little selfish because it's one of my all-time favorite bands, but the Foo Fighters made a change. The Foo Fighters made a change recently, and they have moved on from their drummer, Josh Freese, who replaced Taylor Hawkins.
I was blown away.
Yeah. Josh Freese posted on Instagram, the Foo Fighters called me Monday night to let me know they've decided to go in a different direction with their drummer. No reason was given. Regardless, I enjoyed the past 2 years with them, both on and off the stage, and I support whatever they feel is best for the band. In my 40 years of drumming professionally, 40 years, I've never been let go from a band, so I'm not angry, just a bit shocked and disappointed. But as most of you know, I've always worked freelance, bounce around between bands, so I'm fine. Stay tuned for my top 10 possible reasons Josh got booted from the Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
list.
He did a little list.
How does it even work? Who has the authority to fire someone from a band? Does someone own the band?
It's Dave Grohl.
Is it not always that obvious though? Who the band is like?
Is it always the front man?
To decide.
Yeah.
Who's in charge?
That's why they call it LSD. You know what that stands for? Lead singer's disease. It's a real thing. It happens. I love Josh Freese. I love Paul Skeens and Josh. I love Josh Freese. I love Paul Skeens. He's such a good drummer. It was such a great fit when they hired him. He played with 9 Inch Nails. He played with everybody.
Yeah. So my initial thought when I saw this was I remember a couple of years ago when they had the tribute show for Taylor Hawkins, their old drummer, who passed away, and you saw videos of Taylor's son, Shane, who just tears it up. He was like drums.
14.
But he was like, he was in high school, and I thought, I wonder now that it's been a few years, would they ever have him be their drummer full time?
It's like what
son replaces father.
They did it. Zeppelin did it. They tried to have Jason Bonham's played with them over the years. John Bonham's son. It's awesome. It's just awesome.
And just like lo and behold, I found this morning that there was a news article about Shane Hawkins, Taylor's son, and he's actually going on tour with Chevy Metal, the band that his father formed back in 2013.
Yeah.
Taylor Hawkins started this band, and now his son Shane is taking over and going on tour with them. So
You're
I do
saying
think
they
that's
needed
cool.
to create a roster spot.
Yeah,
They
the
had to
40 man.
DFA their drummer.
A question for you: do they need to give Josh Freese a reason, or because he was like a hired gun fill-in? Is it just, hey, Josh, thanks so much for the effort. We're going in a different direction.
If he files a grievance with Foo Fighters HR,
That's true.
He might have a case.
True.
And they might have to go to arbitration at some point.
It's a big loss. He's big.
All right. We are done for the day. We will have Padres baseball to talk about tomorrow morning. We invite you back here at 6 a.m. for Paulie Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Braden Soprenic coming up next. Have a great rest of your day from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.